So,
Jake's good. Jake's good.
Anyway, before we get this show started, I want to tell people something that Kyle just brought to our attention. He's going to go ahead and do a 50%. 15%. Did I say 50?
Yeah, you said
15% discount if you use the code After Dark on his website, which is dvsdesigns.com. Or if you're on our Facebook page, you can go ahead and click the Buy It Now button, which takes you right to the Sundown After Dark product. Anyway, 15% off, and that is the promo code you can use, which is After Dark.
You all comfy over there?
And anyway, since while we're talking about discount codes, we also got, as you always hear on our commercial, if you don't skip past it, there's promo code After Dark, which you would use on DJ Russticals. It's djrusticals.com.
DJ Russticals.
Which you can get all of his merchandise there.
Oh, like this fancy...
and there, koozie right there. And then the other one is promo code SWAG. You use that at wolfersaccettera.com. Any Sundown equipment, if you use promo code SWAG, they throw in like a t-shirt or a lanyard or koozie. Whatever they got, they want to throw in a box, that is what they'll do. So guys, very special guest today. Is everybody ready?
I was just about to ask, have we started?
I was
'Cause that's
born
not
ready.
normally how you talk to us.
I never start it the same way, Donnie. You know that. Are we ready?
We're ready.
We're ready. We're born ready.
Do I get it? Are we ready? Are we good?
I'm ready.
All right.
It's the loudest show around. Sundown After Dark with your host Bryan Chamberlain, presented by Sundown Audio.
All right, so special guest. I'm so excited. I'm nervous. I'm shaking. Okay, I've been wanting this for a long time. Both of you guys. We've been talking about it for a couple months now, and it's finally happening. It's here. It's happening today. We've got with us Ed Lester, Sparked Innovations, okay, also known as ShowtimeSPL on YouTube.
Yep.
And we got the man who does not need an introduction, the happiest man in car audio,
Oh, thank you.
Bruce Wetherington, right? That's how you pronounce your last name?
It sure is.
EXO Contralto.
Both correct.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. Brian just crushing it out of the gate with the
great.
name.
So now, I've heard you and other people say EXO or EXO. How you like it?
It's interchangeable. I even interchange it. It's
I've noticed
good
that.
both ways.
That's what she said.
Now, I've always wanted to ask this question. Why the name? What does that come from? Because I've heard people ask that question before. So where's that come from?
Well, I guess I could just brush over it real quick. Well, it started with an unsuccessful YouTube channel, so I wanted to pick up something catchy. So EXO, I knew it wanted to start with that, so I was like EXO, external, kind of everywhere. The beginning word
Gotcha.
for that's how it kind of represented for me. And then Contralto, as far as I was big into music theory, and I liked all those kind of cool Latin words. So Contralto was a very, very deep voice, but it happened to be a female voice. And I kind of use that word because it ties into how all my belongings just so happen to be a female. So low bass.
All your belongings are
and
female.
talking about usually my project cars or whatever I'm doing related to bass. So Contralto, low bass, you know, and that's basically, I just combined those two ideas, I suppose.
How long did it take you to make that up, or did it just come out of your head?
It just kind of popped up one day.
That's the way it
Thank you.
should be.
Yeah.
Actually,
I didn't even-
Derrick's the one who came up with the name of this show, a Sundown After Dark. Remember, I was trying to figure out what name to create, what to call the show, and he was just like After Dark. And I was like, you know what? There you go. Because who doesn't forget the old, was it Cinemax or Showtime After Dark?
Skinamax.
Yeah, it sounds like a...
Hey, Thomas, there's another seat right there. Come on in. All right, then. All right, so I kind of wanted to start off with talking to Ed first.
Sure.
Now, Ed, we've known you for a while. Actually, you were a dealer for Sundown before I even started working here, back when you were running Showtime.
Yeah.
Now you've moved on to other things. And so let's talk about your startup in the industry, where you were then, where you are now, what you're doing, and we'll kind of segue into some of your products, and we'll go from there.
But first,
What's that?
what are you drinking there, Ed?
I got some nice whiskey here.
Yeah. I do love whiskey.
That is a prototype of the H.J.
Actually-
Smith Distiller's whiskey.
Now, on the one camera I'm showing everybody right now, if you look behind Jacob's head, there's 3 stickers back there. And what are those, Jake?
Those are labels for some of the products we'll be selling through H.J. Smith Distillers.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
You guys just keep talking because I got to wipe my face. I'm that hot.
How are you going to decorate a wall that we're not even going to have soon?
Make a wall.
I have more stickers.
Wall it.
I just
Wall
wanted.
it,
I
Cut
wanted.
it out. Yeah, I like Derrick's idea. We have to take it out. We have to take that with us.
We got to take the whole wall right here. Just knock the whole damn thing
Wall
out.
it up. Build the wall.
It's coming off. Oh, yeah, I can twist it.
Interaction. Nice.
Do you want to say something, Derrick?
Don't break it.
You want me to
Okay,
give
it's
you
like,
a
if you want, we can switch that mic.
Review the whiskey
We
real
can
quick?
switch that mic
Yeah,
to
yeah.
omnidirectional,
This is
which
gonna
will
fall.
pick up Derrick.
It's going to fall.
Ed's going to give his feedback on the whiskey. This is his second go around with the whiskey.
Yeah, second
This is the
go-around.
normal bottle strength. What
Yeah.
you had at Scotty's was the cask strength.
Right. This I just had a couple sips of this, and I have been a whiskey drinker since I've been legal in Canada. I did go to Mobile Dynamics when I was 18. It was a car audio installation school in Toronto, and legal drinking age in Toronto is 19, but don't tell anyone.
All right.
And I fell in love with whiskey there, but Crown Royal stuff like that wasn't good. But there's some good. More of the Scotch blended whiskeys are good too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do have some experience in love whiskey. And when I first tasted that one, I noticed that it was charred. And I asked Jacob, and he said right away, yes.
Yep.
And it had
So you're starting to know your stuff there.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not a full connoisseur like some people, but
Mhm.
definitely enough to know what I like. And it had levels to the flavor.
Hold on a
which-
second. Hey, Charlie, you want to sit down for a little bit?
Hey, bring 'em in.
There's not going to be a mic for you, but you're welcome to sit if you'd like.
Let me go move this for FedEx.
Okay. Do your thing, man.
Gotta move the
Ed's reviewing
So-
my whiskey over here.
Yep,
Yeah.
I know. Often when we have a show, people just pop in.
That's-
So
Not,
it's
not
just-
as
that's
much
what
as
it is.
this, though. It seems
It's
like this
just
has
like-
been the most.
Everybody wants to see these
Yeah,
two
yeah.
gentlemen.
That's fine. But I was pretty much wrapping up that the multi levels of taste is actually more preferable to me with whiskeys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
This-
fake whiskeys that don't have that are
Yeah.
not preferred.
This is like several stages. You got the sweetness, the char, then you have a little bit of peat on the tail end.
Yeah.
I like the tail end.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite part.
It's tasty. Go good with a steak or something.
Do you like
that too.
bourbons? What's
Bourbons
your,
are good.
What's your favorite bourbon?
I don't know brands.
Bring that mic up a little
Usually
closer
the
to you, Ed,
darker
if
the
you
better,
could.
though.
Ed, you
Hmm?
could just bring that mic a little closer to you.
There you
There you
go.
go. Perfect.
There
That's
we
what I
go.
like. All right. You can literally
Leave it off.
take it in all the way if you
Mm.
want.
That's what she said.
Like this. All right. So So are you done with the whiskey?
Yeah.
How does it taste? Do you like how it tastes?
Yes, yes. I do
That's
like
what
the
everybody
cask.
wants to know.
The
How does
cask
it
is
taste?
better than this, but this is good
Yeah,
too.
I prefer the cask as well. Most people are going to prefer this.
What do you think
Right.
that's going to be worth? Because you've bought enough whiskey.
Worth.
Price wise, what would you pay for that?
On the shelf? Well, this one I would say this is a $30 whiskey per bottle.
Somewhere around that.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about that, Mr. Fuller?
It's it probably won't be too far off of that. We're going to talk to our distributors and see what.
Well, you do that. All right. So anyway, Ed, let's talk about you first. Again, kind of how you got started, where you were, where you are. What are you doing?
If you want to go back to the beginning, I was
Let's go back to the
15
beginning. Sure.
when I first competed. I was
15
doing-
years old?
Doing audio since I was like 11.
Hell yeah, dude.
Car audio in the bedroom. Got a video on that.
How did we not meet each other when we lived up that
I
way?
don't know. We actually lived about half an hour away
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah, I lived in Bensalem at the time. Where did you live? Doylestown?
No. Norristown.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Same county.
Norristown, yeah. Montgomery
So-
County. Yeah. Right outside Philly.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
all greater Philly area. And
Look
the
at that shit.
scene in the 90s was big. And after I went to school to Mobile Dynamics when I was 18, I got a job as an installer, good old Circuit City in Montgomeryville.
Hell yeah, dude.
No longer around, but we were one of the top stores that actually did legit installs.
Did you do custom work there? I know there's a
We
few
did,
shops they would allow to do custom work,
They allowed me to do enclosures, custom enclosures, and some fiberglass work.
which is not normal for a big box store.
All right. Yeah,
So-
but I got them, and I was going to hold a DB drag there, but then I left. I quit. So,
Gotcha.
but they were going to let me do it, which was amazing. And going forward, I worked for manufacturers, a lighting company, that got me to do some interesting things, like designing a prop for Iron Man 1, the first Iron Man movie.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, being
Well,
on
what
the
was
set
the
of-
prop?
It was if you watch the first Iron Man movie, some of the chest lights. We were a lighting company. Most that they did were LED, but there were some shots they needed a flat light, and then computer screens in the background that were static but needed illumination. So they just put a graphic over our light panel, slapped it on the wall.
Wow, that's cool.
That was us. Stuff like that, being on the set of CNN, meeting the drummer from the Roots, and some high-end stuff. But it got me in the door in the manufacturing world. which was
Okay.
great.
And maybe even the broadcasting world, so to speak.
A little bit, yeah, being exposed to filmmakers.
Yeah,
to
the equipment
TV.
involved.
Yeah, definitely. Touring and whatnot, which I always did as a hobby, but not necessarily as a profession. After that, went to a good old, people might know T3 Audio, remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And after the lighting company went out of business, I don't know, do you guys get political on this show?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I do.
We do.
You know the saying, people say you only hated Trump after he became president? Well, the reason we went out of business is because they did business with him, and he didn't pay his bill.
Ah.
Anyway, that's long before the political stuff.
We won't
but
go far into that
yeah,
one.
I mean, there it is. So, but just got invited to
Slandering the POTUS.
Yeah. Got invited to build some woofers and do some stuff for good
Donnie, you want
guy
some?
who became a buddy, T3 Auto, Jonathan DeMuth.
Yeah, give me some.
Got
Yep.
some,
He's starting a new company now, too.
yeah, Prodigy Car Audio.
Mhm.
Give him a little shout out.
Yep.
Derrick, have you
And
tasted it?
that gave me
You want to split it between you and Derrick?
Keep going.
that gave me another foot into the manufacturing world, but more into the car audio side of it. Before that, I did try and start my own business. Razorlight didn't work.
Razorlight.
yeah.
What's that?
It's an offshoot of the C-Light of the lighting company. We
Gotcha.
were doing it for cars, but yeah. And then started my journey deeper, starting a YouTube channel after I emptied my car for World Finals for a rebuild that never happened. And that's when I started my YouTube channel. ShowtimeSPL was supposed to be a format. I started as a format,
Okay.
an SPL format, to give more like. If you only have like 6 to 8 competitors at a show, you can highlight them more and do more of a structured show. That was the idea.
Gotcha.
Never really caught on, and yeah, now here I am today.
That's the
Flash
same
forward.
channel you're using now, right?
Yeah, kept the name. Name
Okay.
fits.
I like the character you have with the glasses.
Edwin. You know why that
Wow.
started? I don't know if I've ever talked about that. I had no one around me to help me with videos. I was doing it by myself, and I had an idea for a video that I needed someone else to talk with.
Oh,
So
okay.
I decided to make a funny voice, put on glasses, and just change the camera angle and went
Right.
back and forth and did it. And
It's pretty.
awesome.
It's pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw you do the Edwin and the split screen and all, I lost it. I started laughing so hard, but I thought of it in an awesome way.
Yeah. That's awesome. It got better over the years with my skills,
Mhm.
practicing techniques.
I like your lab coat.
Yeah, the lab coat became kind of a signature, the glasses. And when I was working for T3 down there, I was doing split screen. To my opinion, not that well, yet it was done well enough where customer called asking to speak to Edwin. And when I explained it was me, he didn't believe me.
That's awesome.
So,
It was your brother.
yeah.
So did you
So-
do it? Did you answer his Edwin?
I changed my voice 'cause in those
Hold on, let me
clips-
go get him real
Right,
quick.
yeah, that's what I did. Yeah, I would talk different and I would speed up the footage to pitch my voice up a little bit. And
Nice.
So I did that over the phone, and he thought it was great. So
I like the whole lab coat thing because you actually, I've watched a bunch of your videos, and what I've noticed is you get really deep into the science of what is actually going on with whether it's a relay or what have you. Why, I actually watched the one, I think it was last night. Why are woofers rated the way that they are? And there's multiple ways that they're rated, and why. Was it? I wrote it down here. Let's see, CEA and the IEC. rating.
that was kind
Yeah.
of also a response off of some drama that was going on.
Oh yeah.
if you
We
what I
know
mean.
about that drama.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you get it so deep into the actual science involved, even for somebody who like me, who's been an installer for many years. Tell Bryan I love him. Like, pass him a note. Oh, thanks, Brett. What the hell was I saying? Jake,
Science. You were talking about science.
the science.
Brian, are you
Science.
blushing?
I am, dude. I have been sweating. I'm profusely. This is
Not too bad
horrible.
in
Look at
here.
this. I'm very nervous right now. So, anyway,
Bruce is a big star.
it's the
I'm
just
feeling the heat.
the science involved, and you get like what I was saying. I was an installer for many years, but I didn't exactly know how certain things worked on the inside, and that's where you get involved in. You should show what actually happens electrically inside of these components that you're building or other people make.
Yeah. There's a philosophy behind my channel, and I'm a working engineer. I've held the title of engineer, but I've never gotten a degree in engineering. Went to
Gotcha.
school for electronics, and now I have a degree in communications and video production, but that's different. So someone to the level of like Jacob has a deep understanding of everything he designs.
But
and
I don't have an engineering degree either.
Yeah, and well, that's some of the I met a lot of people that don't, but
Yeah.
having a deep understanding,
Jake didn't even finish college, and look
No,
where
I-
he is.
no,
Look where
I
he is.
quit, yeah.
it's how hard you work, really, right?
Yeah.
And I always thought
Follow your gut.
I look up to people like that have a deep understanding, and even though I don't really have that deep in my mind, the understanding I do have of things, I decided it's like my purpose to express that and communicate that.
Mm-hmm.
So every video has to have a piece of information, something educational that someone somewhere might find valuable.
You know what?
That's good.
You don't make it boring either. I don't know what it
Thank
is
you,
about
thank you.
you and whatever it is that you're doing, but I can actually sit there, watch and listen,
Yeah.
and not fall asleep. And that's
I appreciate
important.
that.
You engage somehow to make it work.
Yeah.
So you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So let's bring to the table some of the things that you have been working on.
I have latest product here. So Sparked Innovations now, going through all that led me to my partner, Rich Tornetta, is also a high school friend. We're car audio buddies and decided to come out with a new company. So a lot of the ideas we've had of products we wanted that didn't exist, we decided let's make them. Let's design and make them and have a company. It's called
Perfect.
Sparked Innovations. And the one that's about to release right here is OMG. And this is pretty much a production sample. We make all this in-house in our own facility.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Bring it right up to that camera if you could. Look at
Right
that.
here?
Yeah, there you go.
I kind of just want one.
You want
Yeah.
one?
Like, I don't even...
It looks
I
wild.
don't even need to use it.
I have connections. I could hook you up with one.
It definitely looks
Like,
Like,
wild.
I would put that on my wall and just, like,
Yeah.
check that thing out.
Well, see, I want to
We
make
need
a
one of the Jeep.
display.
Yeah, it reminds me of an
Yeah.
engine,
We need one
like
of
a
the Jeep.
big,
Hey,
We're
a
always-
big
we're always
headers.
linking
And like,
amps
Ed,
and
we could
stuff like
we could actually use one in the old test Jeep.
Does that
Hey,
light
there
up?
you go.
I
It
see
does.
it's big. Oh, that's awesome.
This one I actually let me grab the other one here.
All right.
I have all the ones in the box here from the first prototype to now.
Okay.
So if I hold this one up, this is more of the finished version. I don't know if you could see the bottom is frosted.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
just sandpaper. But the idea is the LEDs, there's 4 of them in the bottom, 2 blue, 2 white. So in one mode, the whole base lights up white,
Gotcha.
and in the other mode, it lights up blue. And the modes...
Mode
just-
meaning
that's
series
cool.
parallel, right?
So that's what it does. You hit a button remotely mounted on the dash, and it changes your woofer wiring from series to parallel. Goes through. We developed
That's
these
handy.
relays that can handle. Well, I tested at 12,000 watts through each channel, but they're 120 amp at a 250 volt.
And the
relays.
normal ones are like 20 amps,
Yeah,
right?
may I
lower
see this?
voltage.
20 to 40.
Yeah.
Much
May-
lower
may I see
voltage.
this, Ed?
Yeah.
All right. So
So like your normal relay that you have in your
Alright,
like
so
your
I'm gonna- I
stereo
got
remote
this-
or whatever is nothing like that.
Right. This is physically larger, silver terminals inside, jumpers inside the relays themselves.
now these down here, these are your inputs.
Right,
You
that'll
got
go to an
coil
amplifier.
1, coil 2, right?
Or channel 1, or to 1 mono amp. Just they'd be parallel.
I guess
on
what
that
I'm
side.
getting at, do you need one per woofer? Or
No,
is
that
it,
does 2 woofers. It can
Okay.
be on 2 amps. Has 4 coils 4 coil outputs basically.
Super cool.
this is your initial one, your first one?
That's the newest one.
This is the newest
Yeah.
one.
And then
Okay.
Ed was telling me that through the prototype process, like the first set of relays he had would vibrate and mess up.
Right.
So then he had to go on and develop these.
Yeah.
And those are really beefy. He had a standard one on the table at Excess Power. Like your normal relay
Yeah,
that you would do your remote wire with is like the weight of a penny. And that's like the weight of like a whole stack of quarters, you know?
Yeah. And the terminals, like I said, being silver, which is a heavy metal inside, also
Mm-hmm.
very good conductor. So
Now, is this something that it's better off mounting closer to the woofers or closer to the amp?
and it depends on your wiring, I guess. It doesn't really matter. I figured people would mount them on an amp rack that's showing off.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But-
that's what I would do.
Like Jake was saying, vibration. I actually made a woofer with a platform to bolt things on top of, and that was my vibration test, and it was moving a good 2 inches. So the new relays held that, and they held up to a 12K through each channel. So we
a lot of
tested
power.
power,
That's awesome.
vibration, and a lot of different other things.
Do you have any type of fusing on that? Like, how I say this?
Not on the AC side. It's all protected. There actually is no voltage kickback on woofers to worry about. There's multiple levels of that I can speak on. The other part of that is this being actually designed as a DC relay. The terminals inside, the connectors are far apart, and AC is self-extinguishing the arcs.
Okay.
Right, so it crosses 0. The sine wave crosses 0, so it extinguishes an arc. beyond that, we have far apart connectors that reduces any risk of arc further. Also, these are rated at double the voltage that you'd see on any amp, 250 volts.
Okay.
And there's a timer feature, so you can connect your remote turn on to the amp being used through this. So every time you switch it, it'll turn off the amp and back on in a second. Well, depending on the time delay
Just so
on the
it-
amplifier. So it cuts power when it's doing switching, just in
Gotcha.
case there's any voltage pop or
That's pretty
anything like
cool.
that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, we got Charlie in the room now. Say hi, Charlie. Charlie doesn't have a microphone, but he's just hanging over there by Bruce. So now you have that, and what are you selling that for right now?
It's not released yet, but we're still talking about cost. It's going to be sub 200 range.
Okay.
And also another feature, you can daisy chain them to multiple. So we'll have dealers, they might have package deals and whatnot. It'll come with your remote,
So
to
this
run up
is
to the
this is
dash.
still fresh. You're not selling these yet.
Right. They'll be released probably in a few weeks.
Are you building them in house yourself?
Yeah. I'll solder each board, and we have a team
Ooh.
of guys set up to help me hand assemble the housing.
So this is a built in America item.
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
How many of the different little parts do you build? And I asked that because I watch your videos,
Yeah.
and I think it's awesome that you have a laser.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking
We got
laser
lasers
beams.
too. We got
how many of
lasers
these
too.
Parts do you laser? Like, do you make the actual circuit board and all?
No, I don't print the circuit board. We have a source doing that, and then I just solder the components by hand on the circuit board.
So
The
you-
housing, the acrylic base, and the acrylic top, and the arms and everything.
Is it like a
Full time.
standard PCB board?
Yeah, yeah.
You just have a company, basically you
Right.
made the
I do the
board and-
design, PCB design. By the way, owning a company and starting a company gives you a lot of skills you need to learn and gain.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's great for the brain. Brain is plastic, and you learn more and more. So I knew circuit design a little bit from school, but not to this level. And
Right.
now I'm getting better and better with each product. So we cut all the acrylic. I solder on the circuit board. Then I got a nice crimper to all the big terminals. I got specialty push terminals that fit 8 gauge. They're really hard to find here, so I had to order boxes of like 10,000 of
Are
them.
those the same terminals that we use on subwoofers?
Sort of.
No, they look
Yeah.
similar. The,
Yeah.
the push button
And these,
style.
these are huge. Oh, well, you guys use 4 gauge on
Yeah,
your woofers. don't
really,
you? So-
really big shrink on those.
Ours are
Yeah.
are considered standard 4 gauge, but
Can I see that, Ed?
all the oversized wire that we use,
Yeah,
we end up
right.
having to use 8 gauge
It's
wire on
like
them.
4 AWG spec by,
Yeah.
Right.
but-
And you know what? It's not really needed. We have jumpers, so most of people thought, does the power run through electronics? No, there's actually 2 jumpers you'll see that connect right from input to output, and then 2 of the others run through the relays. And relays are just big bus bars that
Those
connect. And it's all excess power wire, pure copper that we use for the jumpers, and it's 8 gauge,
they double,
tinned copper.
single
yeah.
pole, double throw, standard
double
relays.
pole, double throw.
Double. Okay.
Oh, well, because I have them doubled up, but each individual one, single pole, double throw.
I
Yeah,
see you got your little emblem on them too.
yeah,
That's
we got
nice.
our
I
logo.
didn't know
and
you
the
can have
name.
such a thing made like that.
Yeah. Well, I think these exist in the world, but not in the exact form that I wanted. So
Are those like 40 amp ones or?
no, 120.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Those are
and
beasts.
they're that
Beasts.
small.
Yeah,
I
actually,
figured they'd be bigger.
one of the poles is 150 amp. So in a relay, the normally connected, normally open poles are sometimes different sizes.
Right.
So
And that's
it's-
how they can withstand so much power going through them.
Yeah. And we need
That's
them
a
too.
shit ton of power.
We'll rate it at 8K per channel probably.
Right. Which when they can take more, but
For burps, probably 12K. We'll say maybe
Gotcha.
15. Yeah.
and the whole reason for this is, in my opinion, would be for people that want to do both a daily and an SPL build at the same time, where you
Sure.
can switch from, parallel, which is what you're probably going to use when you're in the lanes,
Yeah.
and switch it over to series. So it's just a standard musical build.
Right.
So is that what that was for?
Yeah,
originally?
that's one of the main purposes. There's others. You guys know Ronnie Smith?
Yep.
Yeah,
He was
he-
on
Of
one
course.
of our episodes.
He asked us, can it strap and unstrap an amplifier?
Uh-oh.
I had to look at the wiring with a couple jumpers. Yes, it can, actually. So there's other uses. You can turn on and off a load of speakers. So if someone had, say, their back doors on the same amp as the front doors, but they only wanted their back doors on during a show,
Right.
you hit a button, it connects your back
That's
doors.
good for SQ guys where they can only run certain speakers at
that
a time.
too. Yeah.
Hell yeah, look at that.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
fancy.
Multiple uses for this
Being
product.
flexible, use them in a daisy chain, and do 32 woofers at once if you want.
Wow. Yeah, what else? Did you bring the other thing that you have?
No, I don't have the relay box. The relay box is just a switcher for accessories, 12-volt accessories.
Is that something you're selling right now?
Yeah, that's available
Talk
now.
about that if you could.
Yeah, that is basically a package, in one box, you have 4 channels of relay switching that are fused at 15 amps. You also have a distribution of B plus and ground. So you can use it if you want to add DSPs that need, say, constant ignition and ground. You have it all right there. All the channels can be activated remotely with a switch that plugs right in. We have it all 4-pin plugged. It's LED switches that light up, all automatic, no wiring needed.
So instead of using multiple relays, you can just use that one
Just
box.
use that, right.
That's
And
awesome.
you could also use it for triggers if you're adding air horns and use your horn itself. So it's a nice jumping off point for additional accessories along your install project.
And it looks cool.
And it looks cool.
It does
yes.
look cool.
Yeah.
And then also, you can also buy, and I bought some stuff from you a couple years ago, some just buttons, lighted up switches and stuff.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool stuff. He's got some really cool switches that kind of light up with an LED when you press the
There you
button.
go.
Yeah. Well, this one says SPL on it because this might be what we send with OMI.
Let me get a click of that.
I think I had-
I've been seeing.
It sounds cool.
Oh yeah.
I think mine had like a metal housing.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like a
they're
little
metal,
fidget
yeah.
button.
Yeah.
You know what? I literally have them in a box right outside this room too.
I
I
didn't
forgot to
know it
grab
had
them.
Gotta
such a
install them.
like a mechanical click.
Yeah,
to
I
it.
went
I
through
love
a-
that. I love
How
that.
satisfying.
I went through a couple
hold it up to your mic.
renditions.
Yeah, everybody, just get a little of this.
Let me hit that.
You want to hit that?
Oh man.
Get into that.
Oh.
Absorb. Oh.
How does that feel?
Feels good, yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind clicking 1 or 2 of those every day.
All right.
Knowing my luck, I'd
yeah,
break
I
it.
know it's yours.
It'll
It
just
sounds
fall
like we're
apart.
a bunch of guys talking
Well, no,
about women.
and the
I
thing
wouldn't
is,
mind clicking that
I
a few
have these
times.
sitting at my house, and I didn't even know that they click like this.
Once a day is good
I
enough.
just got caught.
Just
that
like
I
an
haven't
apple a
opened the
day.
box yet. Sorry, Ed.
Fat
All right.
SPL you got there.
Well, I thought about, we have these in black finish and like a polished aluminum, and I thought about offering them when you buy a set in kind of a jewelry box with all the foam cut out for each switch.
Oh man.
It just, the cost was too high. I'm like, people,
Aren't you making some panels too?
custom switch panels. Well,
Yeah.
we're trying to get out of the custom and just offer something that looks custom.
Yeah.
That's more readily
Hey,
available.
Ed, what's
So-
up with that fan?
Fanny? Yeah, I had to put that off to finish OMI, but
So it's like two blower fans, like
yeah.
They always remind me of a fan that goes inside one of these big
It
computers.
reminds
on
me of
the
a
top.
GPU.
yeah, exactly.
sort of
It's
like
like
that.
a GPU
Like a
fan.
water-cooled fan that
Yeah.
just sits at the top
It's
of a
called
computer.
Fanny.
Coffee. Yeah, we're gonna start giving.
Let me
ourselves
take
fun
a look
names.
at your fan.
No, you should
Ed.
make modules and call it fanny packs.
Buy a
Like
pack,
little
yeah.
modules that you can like add on.
Buy a
More
fanny
than
pack.
one fanny is a fanny pack.
Yeah.
Are those called glowies?
Glowies. Oh, we should do that. Yeah.
Switchies.
Because this is OMI. Like, what up, OMI? That's my OMI right there. But no, yeah.
buddies.
So you guys better sign up to buy OMI when it comes out because
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk Ed into charging more money for it.
Yes. Maybe.
Yeah, if I'm here longer tonight with you guys, then it might go up. But
I'm still trying to get over. You said that's my OB. I can't get.
Donnie, white girl can't even right now.
whatever.
So let's talk about, because I watched that video of the CEA and the IEC ratings, and you did this whole thing, this whole talk about it.
Right.
What are your thoughts on just the ratings in general and how woofers are rated? Let's
Well,
get that out of the way.
I can kind of cut it to one thought, and actually got the man next to me here who brought to light to the industry something
Yes,
that's
he did.
A lot of
Oh
misinformation.
yeah, you did do that originally.
He started
Whoops.
some shit.
Yeah. And I thank him a lot for that. It's important because what some brands out there are calling now what they call CEA RMS. It's okay that they're doing that, except it's confusing. Using the RMS acronym is confusing people to what actual measured RMS is. And it's just a different standard that CEA is trying to put out. And what I think it really should be called is program power. And that's something going to Pro Audio just tells you what size amp to connect to.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's pretty much my thought.
Okay.
Either way, it's all pretty ambiguous when you read it.
Yeah.
And just like our woofers,
Yeah.
we rated at 2,000 watts. People are throwing triple
Twice
that to
that,
them.
triple
And
that.
Did you
it's-
say
and it's
ambiguous?
Ambiguous.
No,
Oh, this is ambiguous.
Oh,
I thought you were trying to be funny.
I could have utilized that.
I thought you were
Johnny's
trying to be
trying
funny.
to
I
throw in the
seriously-
dad joke over here.
Oh man, I did the dad joke about Bruce's van.
Oh.
So I said I've heard of my main man, but this is the main van.
When did you do that?
when he was looking at your main license plate.
You can leave now, Jake.
Yeah.
You can leave.
He's here all night.
I feel like Ed was actually videoing me for your video when I said that.
Oh,
Well,
I might have it on
it'll
there.
it'll surface.
That's gonna make it up. Yeah. That'll be a
He'll turn the
dedicated
audio
video.
wide open on that part.
You gotta totally dad joke it whenever you can.
We'll log all
No,
the
you-
jokes after a year and make a dedicated video.
All right, so let's see what else did I want to talk about here for Mr. Ed.
Oh, before you go on, so you said something about being exposed earlier. You should do like an after dark, but you call it EXposed.
Yeah, well,
Exposed.
well, that's why I've been kind of doing the exposed, like that word, because
Yeah.
because I even highlighted the EX and the O.
What's I gonna say?
Mm.
Oh, when you called him Mr. Ed, I called him out the other day, and then right afterwards, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have called him that. That's it.
And then do like a little comical laugh after.
Here, Wilbur.
Oh,
I
shit.
think that reference is not as relevant today.
Because I call people Mr. What I'm like,
No.
hey, Mr.
The
Bryan.
kids have no idea.
I can only imagine how much that horse must have hated peanut butter at the end of the show. Dude, like, yeah,
that-
like, what the
either
hell?
that or he became addicted to
Yeah,
it.
like,
Hey,
constantly.
That
like-
horse probably hates peanut butter as much as Brian's dog does.
Oh,
no!
Yes, Jake, I'm lonely right now. Hey, I'm talking to somebody.
It just makes me think because you had that big dog, that huge.
I did have a big ass dog.
it's like a horse.
That's a huge bitch.
That's a huge bitch. Take it to the circus.
It's just gone, man.
I did have that big ass dog, and when she passed away, I had to dig a hole big enough to put a fucking person in. It took a whole day, and I broke two shovels to do it.
That dog was bigger than some people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
120 some pounds. She was a bull mastiff, so just big ass dog.
I'd be crying for 2 reasons on that one.
Yeah, she was a good dog. She's basically the horse of the family.
Yep.
My kids used to ride her around.
Well, she liked your family, but other people not so
That
much.
is very true.
She liked me.
She'd become vicious around
She
people
liked
she didn't
me.
know.
Could you ride her around?
No.
Oh hell
Good
no,
Lord.
she would be broken.
Yeah. Donnie tried to ride her. Mm.
Oh, yeah. That's the
Oh, there was that time. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to talk about that? Yeah, we used to party at my house a long time ago.
No, I don't.
Way back in the day. Not anymore.
Back in that younger times,
Speaking of me being lonely, I am talking to somebody. Yeah, her name's Crystal.
Certainly not talking about Terry
A
Claw.
little shout out to Crystal. So that's as far as I'm going to take that. We're just talking.
Well,
Good eye, Brian.
Can I ask you something?
Hey, go ahead.
Have you tried DMT?
From this solar system?
No, but you know what? I've always wanted to go to Peru and try the real ayahuasca.
Ah.
Before it became this thing that
No, it's
Joe
too
Rogan
mainstream,
talked about. Yeah,
bro.
it's too mainstream. I'm not going to do it anymore. You got to find something else to become one with the stars for a minute.
I know a guy who did that when I was working at GameStop, and he like traded in all his stuff. He's like, I'm going to ayahuasca, whatever.
Bring
and,
that mic closer.
And yeah, he came back, and he's like, yeah, I'd been gone for months, and I learned a lot about myself. It had been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and he's just like, there's no sense of time. It was really funny.
No sense.
They
of
say that
time.
happens.
Yeah.
Because time's irrelevant. There's no such thing.
Sometimes it do
We
be
just
that way.
made it up here on Earth because
Ed, how do you feel
this is
about Brian say
physical.
time's not real?
Time is not real.
I feel fantastic about it.
We're all just in a
I did good-
we're
I-
all just in a vehicle
I did study
experiencing
astrophysics. I can
a
talk
ride.
I
right now.
disagree. I think time is a dimension, just like spatial dimensions.
Well, you do have to track it on a chart, just like Neil deGrasse Tyson says.
See, we're all thinking about this in the physical realm of things.
Time
This
is
is all
real.
irrelevant.
People's perception is different.
That is correct.
Perception's different, yeah.
We can talk about
Causality.
this shit all day.
Causality is what we really refer to when we're talking about time.
Right. So in order for an action to take place, it has to be like before.
You know what,
or now,
guys?
it's all that
It's
shit.
just aliens. All right.
Brian, you need to
Aliens.
grow your hair out like the crazy hair dude, and just say aliens all the time.
So, all right, Ed. So I think a few more things I wanted to talk about with you.
You gotta switch it up, man.
Yeah, what do you got going on?
We'll switch it up here in a minute. Just chill the fuck out. Okay.
Don't bore the viewers.
See, this is after dark, so Brian can talk to the boss man that way.
Oh.
You just got a beater and you're starting to work on your beater. So you got a bunch of equipment that you're putting in it.
Mhm.
Now, one thing I didn't look into, I saw the body work was pretty rough, or it needs body work, I should say.
Well, I kick it more and more. So.
We saw you driving it the other day when we were coming back from Excess Power. You just happened to be at the same gas station. You were buying fireworks, by
Yeah.
the way.
Two
Hell
bagfuls.
yeah.
See, me, Derrick, Brandon, and Derrick's wife, we all went to Pigeon Forge on the way back from the Excess Power show. And
That was awesome.
hell yeah, it was. Oh, where did we eat, Derrick? Where was that?
Oh, we went to Paula Dean's.
Oh,
I
you
love
damn right
Paula
we went to
Dean's.
Paula
Every
Dean's.
time I drive through there, I stop at Paula Dean's.
Dude,
Was that next to Corey Dean's?
What's the food like? Is it all butter?
Basically.
Probably. Yeah,
Oh, dude.
Racist butter.
butter and love.
Damn it.
As long as it's salted, I'm cool with it.
Butter and love.
Oh.
But dude, that place.
Everything there.
First off, it's packed.
I've never
Have
seen
you ever ate
someone.
there, Donnie?
I've never been.
You should go.
As large as I am. you'd
Hey,
think
Thomas.
I've been there,
Everybody
but I've
should go
never
to
been there.
Pauline's.
I saw Brian eat unsalted butter the other day, and I've never seen anyone so sad.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah, unsalted butter sucks. It's pointless.
Do you have a-
Hey, Thomas.
Can we get that?
Anyway, we went to Paula Dean's.
Unless the
Um,
friends table.
If you've never been to the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area of Tennessee, you have to go there. Check out all the shit that's out there. There's a lot of cool things to do, but you got to eat at Paula Dean's. No affiliation at all whatsoever, but it's like a family
Did you
style.
say no affiliation? It's called Paula Dean's.
With no affiliation with Sundown.
It's not related to.
Oh, not to Sundown.
No,
I
to
said
the
not
show.
affiliated to. Okay, never
Oh,
mind,
to
sorry.
us.
Yeah, what's that
I'm just,
sticker over
I'm
there?
just,
Hold on.
I'm just promoting going to Paula Dean's. It's freaking amazing.
Damn
Had
it,
a
Brian.
great time.
I just bought a 75% steak in that place.
For
As
some
there's a
reason, I thought
Paula
you were
Dean
saying
sticker.
It's not associated with racism or Paula Dean, but it is.
Hey, you know what? The restaurants are still up, and she's doing well for herself apparently. So,
The show is on fire today. Look at this, guys. We got the mad guy in here now.
how about them trains, Thomas?
Oh, wait, Thomas, speaking of lasers, you were talking about your laser earlier. And Brian's like, we have lasers. Thomas took our lasers because he was convinced we were going to wreck the train with it.
Is this a real thing?
No, I fucking hid those things because nobody can trust you assholes.
Yeah, but you told me we
They
were
don't
going to
like
wreck.
find each
You
other.
told me we were going to wreck the train.
You're talking about
We were
laser
gonna
beam.
yeah, we have
Like
like the
a red dot.
lasers.
Yeah.
You said we were
That's
gonna
it.
go outside
Rick-
and shoot
Listen,
it into
that's a
the.
little different.
Rick's
It has a
collision or
real laser.
Rick's
Yeah.
Car Audio
But these
sent
are
us
cool
some
lasers.
lasers.
They made
We
the-
turned the lights off and
You guys saw the
That's
episode.
not the cool laser.
That's a pretty cool laser.
A laser that will laser your face. That's a cool laser.
Derrick, you can change the setting on it. It will do different shapes, different sizes.
Will it cut you like a lightsaber?
It'll
Damn near.
cut the mood of the room.
Yeah, it was a fucking party in here that
Gonna
day.
cut the tension.
Cut the tension. That's right.
All right, so we've got Bruce over here.
He
Bruce
chilling.
has been kind of quiet.
He chilling.
Now it's time for you to show off
Oh God.
because Bruce, you're the most exciting man in car audio.
Jeez.
You are.
He's pretty exciting.
Just like all this crazy shit. By the way, so before we get into that, I want to cut to a video that of us. Donnie, it's Donnie.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, hold on. So I don't remember what I said. So if I said something bad, I don't know.
No, that's
But
okay.
I
Am I getting like an inside scoop right
I
now?
don't,
Yeah,
I don't
this-
think so.
this is
Yeah,
funny.
well,
I don't-
if it's
I don't
at the
remember
end
what
of the
I said.
video, I probably haven't seen this.
Brian found it earlier, and I was like, "Oh, play it back. I want to hear it."
So
He's
this
like,
is-
"No."
Play this back.
This is
What-
episode 5.
What is this?
All right, here we go.
That guy
Oh, really? Really? This is gonna go retarded on me?
Come on.
gets into like an argument and like 12
There we go.
hours later wakes up in the middle of the night. He's like, oh, Bill Cosby. I have it.
It's like with Bryan and all his speaker knowledge. I have a lot of horror knowledge.
It's coming
built up
Every
in
time
here.
Donnie says horror, I hear horror.
Yeah.
Donnie, you were in my office earlier when I was doing a technical thing.
This is old.
yeah.
You don't have your
Technical question with
decorations.
Somebody, and
Yeah.
we got like deep into like I was talking about diodes
It's coming up.
and relays and shit like that.
Tetra
And-
heat
Oh,
drivers.
yeah.
Look how
Yeah.
fat my
Your-
face was,
your-
by the
your
way.
head,
You're
works.
like, you just look how fat my face
Dude,
is.
some of the language, like I've been watching a lot of EXO.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Podcasts. He does his stuff, and he's very energetic. And I'm trying to learn.
He does like vlog style shit. He's
he's
really good.
Oh, that's great.
if you're listening, EXO, I like your videos.
Hey.
I've been- I've been in talks
And he
with
lives in
him.
North Carolina
Yep.
now, which is kind of
Does
cool.
he really?
I've been in
Yeah, he
talks
lives
with
in
him. and
Fayetteville now. Yeah.
We
Why
will
would
be.
anyone move to Fayetteville?
We will be getting him at some point.
Vietnam.
Yeah,
we
it's a
need to
good
talk.
Oh,
we need
man.
to talk him out of living there.
If we got EXO on
Yeah.
this would be like it would be the
He's
the-
already committed.
Well,
to it. We
it's
just
too
gotta
bad
find a
this is
good
the
Look
one.
at
last
that.
episode.
that'll be like the highest rated episode Bryan did.
It probably will be. And then we're gonna crash,
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
crash and burn.
Because he's
Remember
like
that?
he's got more hits on his
Here it
videos than
comes.
JP. He's like fucking.
Does he?
He's
Oh,
so
shit.
full of energy.
That was
He's
big
got
words.
amazing
Guys,
amount.
'cause I
he's
wish I
he's
had
like
that.
he's like a
JP's
huge.
kind of concentrating on his e-commerce, and he hasn't.
He's
been
got
doing
like a
as much of
huge
videos.
He's got a huge like following, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
he's
very
really-
much
he's-
for
he's really
saying this.
energetic.
He's actually
Actually, it's funny.
knowledgeable.
There's one video
Here
that
we
I
go,
want
here.
to point out. I watched it today. It was really funny because you can tell he has like a YouTube persona, YouTube voice.
Yep.
But he always wants to do videos on things that are going on. And I guess he took his car to an auto body shop because he got in an accident, and they fucked up his system. Like they pulled the box out and they ripped the the handle.
They
of
did
the
a
fucking
number on
battery
that
and
thing,
all
man.
kinds of shit. And he was livid. He was like, "Hey, you Douglas, this is EXO, and I'm supposed to be really happy right now, but I'm mad as shit." I have to get him on YouTube voice when he was just like, it was like beep 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 beep. I want to talk to him about that episode because it just cracked me up.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. That's great, man. I haven't seen that before. That was toward the end, so I might have.
Right.
Yeah, that makes me laugh and smile.
Be watching you, bro.
Yeah,
man.
It is true. I was so upset at that. I really was because I
So
was
what happened?
directed.
What happened?
I'll tell you what happened.
All right.
I was directed by the head honcho over there. No, you don't need to take anything out. You don't because I said, hey, should I take my system out? Because I know you guys got to do something in the rear end. Is that gonna be in the vicinity of work? No, I don't. That's don't even bother. Just bring it down. We got great guys. We'll take good care of you.
Mm-hmm.
I checked in, and lo and behold, we like $4,000 worth of body work later, which they messed up first of all, and so I was already kind of pre-pissed. So they messed up the job. They messed up what they were supposed to fix and broke what they weren't supposed to break. So I was just going through bit by bit, and in the heat of the moment, it might have been pretty entertaining because I was upset.
Yeah, but you kept your cool. Your
I
YouTube
had to.
cool.
I had to because they'll flag you nowadays if you're too inappropriate. So I keep the Fs in the a lot of the Fs
Maybe
to
that's
a
why we
minimum.
don't get so many views.
It was just one of those videos that I didn't expect it to be anything, and now I'll walk into the grocery store and someone be like, hey, are you that kid who got his system fucked up? And I'll be like, yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you. And it's caused so many initial interactions.
Did you ever say a name of the company, by the way?
I purposely didn't do it because in case the video did get traction, which it did, I didn't want that
to be considered slander of some
well,
sort.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. The situation is shitty enough. I didn't want to make it worse by causing even more drama with them.
Here's the EXO's
and I lived in the
Yelp
area.
review.
I lived 10 minutes from there, so
Okay,
I was keeping things kind of to a minimum. So I was just sharing the story, and it was worth it.
Did your vehicle get fixed at the end?
Yeah, they went back and did free work.
Good.
On top of that,
so they took care of you. At the end
but
of the
even
day.
when they looked at what was wrong, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. I'll fix it." Like, well, okay. So it was.
Shit happens.
Oh yeah, it was a whole calamity.
And it would have been no issue had you just taken your system out, I guess. Right?
Exactly. Which I was so upset because I already asked if I should.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
anyway, Mr. EXO,
Yeah.
Mr. Bruce. Actually, did I say your last name correctly? Wetherington.
Yeah. In fact, you're one of the very few. Worthington
Worthington
is most common.
Okay, so
Bruce
Wetherington is the way it's
is the
pronounced.
way it's thrown
Bruce
down.
Wetherington.
Yep. It sounds like I got millions attached to the estate.
Hmm.
But no.
You need to have a
Cover up.
monocle, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like I come with this whole package of just like, whew, nah. But here I am in my
You're originally from Maine, right?
born and raised.
Born and raised in Maine. And
Yep.
so what brought you... Now, you started all your videos up there, 10 years ago, right? It's been 10 years?
Yep, almost 11 years. Yeah.
And now you live in North Carolina, which you moved here a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, almost 3 years.
Tell us why you came on down south. Because it's a whole lot different climate down here, buddy.
It really is, and that's a big reason. Being in Maine, I don't like a 10-month winter. I
understand.
So I'm exaggerating, obviously, but some years we'll get 120 inches of snow, and you just got to deal with it.
I flew up there when I was 17. I flew up there in like the first week of April, and there was still snow on the ground.
Yeah, it happens. It'll be a cruel April Fool's joke where you'll get another foot of snow during that time of year. So I had to separate myself from that for work, for year-round YouTube videos and personal system videos, and just what I wanted to do, which was car audio.
I went there just to see Stephen King's house.
Bring that mic closer.
Yeah.
It was like a YOLO thing. His gate was open. I was about to just run up. So like, I'm here.
Is that the story when he got run over by a car? Now we know.
I think that's in Bangor or Belfast or something like that. Yeah.
So you actually came down here because the car audio scene and the weather is a little bit better.
The car audio scene, and I don't know if you know this, but living in Maine is probably one of the most expensive places you can live.
Is it?
It's pretty ridiculous. Where I was, living in a really crappy apartment, an upstairs apartment, I was paying more than I am now for a 3-bedroom house with a 2-car garage,
That's crazy.
a barn, all that.
That's crazy.
So I'm living how I would need to live with the 2-car garage. I can't sacrifice that. I need it.
I saw your house. It's pretty nice.
Thank you so much.
Looks like you're doing good for yourself.
I feel like I am, and I
you know
have
what?
my
10
own
years of
stuff.
hard work pays off, doesn't it?
I feel like it has, in the sense that I can keep doing what I love and actually stay afloat, and I have people who support me more than I value myself, which is
It's got to get
amazing.
overwhelming at times. I know it does. It has
You know,
to.
it'd be really
It
sweet
does.
if you sold shirts.
If I sold shirts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe if people in the comments, maybe if they could, voice their opinions on something like
And
that, if that
hats.
would be well received or not. Yeah,
I
that's
bet
been-
it would.
Promo
That's
code
been a
After
very-
Dark. Get your 5% off.
It's been at the top of my fears of such stuff like that, But if we could get over that hurdle with some support, hell yeah.
I know you guys
Put
have
your
been-
face on the back,
I know you guys have been
whatever, whatever.
I know
Yeah,
you
I
guys
don't
have been
know.
looking into getting T-shirts, so that would be a cool thing for you.
Yeah,
to do,
me and
man.
Ed are talking, we're talking business lately. I'm trying to actually take what I'm doing seriously because, I was taught that if it makes any bit of money, treat it seriously. So, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to do things in the right order. So
Right. Well, you never do things in the right order, and sometimes it works out
yeah,
correctly.
So far, so
Speaking of order, let's go ahead. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish talking about you in general.
Mhm.
Then we're going to cut to a break, and after the break, we're going to talk about what you guys are doing together, and then we're going to get to the fans' questions. all right?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So
man.
let's start off with the beginning of things for you, Bruce.
Oh,
So
okay.
take us to the beginning, your age, what you were doing, how you got involved, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I think I want to talk about something a little different because I've always kind of explained the same story, but it goes further back than that.
Take
And
us there, buddy.
Yeah, it's my cousin Joshua. I love the kid. We used to do he's passed away now,
Mhm.
but we used to do stupid stuff with audio, and I cannot believe that our amp stayed on because we were just paralleling everything we could find.
Right?
Yes.
Like it didn't matter.
Exactly.
Like in my bunk bed, the rails going up above my head, I would just cram in infinite freaking just speakers.
Dude.
And then
Dude, I did the
Iowa-
same thing
Every-
in a
and-
bunk
and-
bed.
And I thought I
Same
was doing
thing.
something to enhance, but little did I know I could be messing
Did you
myself
have
up.
did you have different woofers of different
Of
brands
course.
too? Hell yeah!
Of course, I was taking like he's the one who inspired me. Joshua is the one who inspired me to really to up my bass because he was old enough to have car woofers. I
Yeah.
had my dad's like Technics and the home audio stuff that I would
yeah.
steal, but he had these shiny blue Jensens. I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna steal those. So we would just take them from cabinet to cabinet and stick them out the windows while we're snowboarding and like take them everywhere we go, in our cars, in our houses, everywhere. And he was the biggest part of my love for audio. And I just wanted Joshua Wetherington and my cousin. And then he had a car, and then I got inspired to maybe up my game that way. And then I got my van, and it was just all downhill or uphill from there, I should say. It really had to do a lot with my family.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of us grew up that way, where it's like, in the beginning, in our teenage years, we had to have a friend or a family member that kind of brought us to the audio world, and you just blossomed from there. That's
Yeah.
great. So, when did you start the channel? What made you do what you're doing now?
I'll tell you the truth. I was never very outgoing. I was always the quiet kid in school, but I was always the troubled kid.
Gotcha.
I kind of acted out, and toward the end of my schooling, I just dropped out, and I felt like I didn't really have much but my speakers, and I always was kind of just writing notes about my speakers and like my amps and how it will look if the wires go in this way, and I'm flagging in the middle of the street, telling cars where to go, thinking about my amp rack and like all this stuff. So I think it was how can I make this enjoyable for not only me, because I felt like it was kind of being too much of a part of my life, and it was affecting my life in a bad way.
You had something in your head you wanted to get out to the world.
Yeah, and I didn't
Yeah.
know how to do it in a constructive way. So I'm like, well, what if I made videos like Bam Margera, like Jackass, and just made them short little skits? And it really started with skits, a lot of skits, and because I loved comedy videos, and I was really inspired by the short, waste time chasing cars videos. So I wanted to make my hobby something that made me feel better, because I felt like I borrowed money from an ex-girlfriend to pay for stuff. I was in a really bad spot mentally, so I was like, man, I need to turn this into a positive. And that's what I tried to do with being happy about car audio on my videos.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I was in a rough spot with like a relationship and all that, and like money, and I felt like
We've all
man,
been there, buddy.
yeah. So I was like, man, how can I make this a positive in my life without feeling like it's draining my wallet, and you know what I mean? Like, so that's
Right.
how it all started. And I think that's it.
Look at that. Your story is making me sweat.
Oh, sorry about that.
Bringing back memories.
Yeah, it was just a way to keep me going at that time.
Should make you like cry. It should be a tear to your eye.
He's already brought. I don't want to steal his thunder, but a lot of the things that he has already talked about are things that have happened in my life too, and like the friend, or yours was a cousin, right?
Oh yeah.
Mine was a friend, and he's also dead too. It's really weird. So yeah, it brings back a lot of memories. So, and you guys over there, I can hear you, so be quiet. While he's trying to explain his story.
Bloody peasants, be quiet.
So you started the channel almost 11 years ago.
Yep.
And now, what are you focusing on your videos? What are you doing? What are you bringing to the crowd?
What am I bringing to the crowd? I try to bring something that makes people smile, and almost where they don't feel like they wasted their time watching something online.
Like to do when I watch this show.
Yeah. No. I find there's extreme value in with people of position talking in these situations. So I would never go there with a program like this. But as far as what I have to offer, I think it's more, I try to bring something that can be understood by people who have no idea what car audio is. So that's why I try to explain things.
Donnie watches your videos.
Yeah, so that's why sometimes when people maybe watch my videos who already know this, will be like, oh yeah, well, I already know this. Maybe I'll fast forward 10 seconds. Well, someone just gained something from that 10 seconds that was fast forward that never knew it before, and I take those things for granted way too much.
I used to send people your video of learning how to gain match. I used to send people that video all the time.
I send people your video for drop-ins all the time because now I make quotes for drop-ins.
Thank you. And I got another one coming up for that.
It was kind of like that meme with the guy with the butterfly, and I was like, this is a drop-in. Like, that's kind of how I felt when I got into the office. And I was like, okay, videos. And yours was one of the ones that came up. So I share that all the time.
And that right there keeps me going, that if I can help someone who didn't really know something before just know a little bit more about it, because I'm no expert, but every day I'm learning more, and I'm actively taking steps to gain more knowledge in areas that people would maybe be surprised in. Yeah. But I'm trying to up my game in a lot of different ways, and if that can show through my video production, I'm so happy.
That's really cool. A lot of people try to guard their knowledge, so they don't want to share it. Right. So it's nice to have someone share it.
We're a very transparent company, which if you notice, we tell people a little bit too much sometimes.
I like to tell. Like if someone's like, "Well, why do you make your speaker that way?" I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's better. Like we were talking about earlier with the X's and stuff.
I feel like it's mostly on this show because of whiskey.
Yeah,
I really do.
I'm not taking my pants off today, folks.
Although, if I can interject something for a second.
Go ahead.
As soon as we walked in, Jacob said to Bruce, "You got to see this prototype amp. It just came in today." So the openness is
exactly. And that's never. I've never experienced that. So to be pulled aside by someone like Jacob, who in my mind, even several years ago, I still look up to this dude to be like, hey, come over here and check out this 3K. Like, what? Okay, let me take a photo.
Bruce, like, he broke the seal on it today.
Yeah, let me.
How about we actually show it off after the break?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, and then we'll segue into some other stuff.
Let's take a break.
Hold on. I wanted to talk about a few more things that you got going on.
Okay, yeah.
So we've got the Frankenstein build and we got Little Blue. So those are your two main builds.
Yeah, the Frankie's. Yeah, she's parted. She's done.
Which one?
Frankie's all done.
Which one's that?
That was the 618s.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a new build coming up.
And you've got. I've noticed you got multiple vehicles, multiple builds you're working on.
Yeah, I got 3 project cars.
I think maybe we can throw some Sundown on one of them.
Please.
That'd be cool.
Let's do it.
Please.
That'd be awesome. I know you got B2 right now going in the big one.
No. It's just because of the hat, guys. I love red. Like, it's
Okay.
my favorite hat.
I assume. Actually, we talked
No,
about
you're
that.
not the only. Everybody thinks that.
I think on an episode
Well,
I brought
the good
that
thing
up.
is, like-
I was like, I'm pretty sure he's running B2.
B2's a cool company.
I won't say no though, because who wouldn't say that they would want to? But if I get confronted by them, who would say no?
We're good friends with B2.
Yeah, I love
no
Andrew.
harm.
He's a good guy.
I like
Andrew's really cool. Jay is really
I like
cool.
Jay.
And then Jay saved my pillow that one time. I think I told you guys where Jay saved my pillow.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I mean, they're good people. They'll bring your pillow back if you need it.
He sure did.
But if I could choose any company, I mean, I would want to maybe choose someone who has a lot of research, like I'm obviously with PSI right now. I've been with them since 2000.
Yeah, David's awesome.
Love David. He's been homie hookup for the longest time.
I learned about David today? I learned that he would look good as a woman.
Oh.
You're telling me?
Yeah.
Damn, I pulled that up on my screen. I was
That's
having
his
questions.
profile picture right now.
Yeah, I need to keep that bottled up, but yeah, I have the two 18s in my Saturn Ion with two Crescendo 5500s, a single 12 EMF lowballer in my Toyota Corolla, and I'm gunning for 8 18s in my Nissan NV 3500. It's a full-size, full-ton cargo van, and it's it's boxy till no tomorrow, so it should be pretty damn sweet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, and Ed, we forgot to talk about yours. You got a bunch of incriminator stuff going on in your build.
Yeah.
Or in the beater, but
that's
the
the
beater
ship
build.
box. Well, yeah, beater. You got to keep it family friendly, right?
No,
Beater
no,
box.
this is not
this
family
is-
friendly
This
at
is
all.
after dark.
You can say fuck all
Once
you want.
you cross that threshold, you can just
We're drinking. It's
dirty.
okay.
But no, that's
Speaking of drinking, can
that's
I
a
have
little
another beer,
quick
please?
build. Yeah.
you want one of these?
Yeah, why not?
There you go.
Loosen up a little bit.
Here, sorry.
So what else you got going on there, Bruce?
I love home theater. I'm a big home theater dude. A lot of it's behind the scenes, but I'm slowly trying to work my audience into
You
accepting
ready for
the,
that amp?
Yeah, and exactly. And then here I am following the man himself with his developments in home audio, and that is also very cool to see. And I got my own big set of towers that I built on YouTube. It's got, Ed heard them for the first
We
time
had some jam sessions.
the other day.
What you got in there?
And
Cyber bass.
right now I got some Dayton designers for the mids, and I got some Peerless tweets, silk domes.
You know, Peerless makes a really good product.
They really do.
They really
I showed
do.
him one of my Peerless 12s.
Impressive. Yeah.
It's good quality.
Not even that much money.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna step up my game to 5.1 with some nice different subwoofer placements instead of just the front. And yeah,
You have a whole room set up for this?
yeah,
Fantastic.
it's nothing fancy, but
I got a tip. I got a tip for you on that, Bruce.
send it.
If you want to have basically bass without any dead spots, you put a subwoofer in the center on all four walls.
That's
And
okay.
Yeah, and it's really good. Harman had a big paper on that.
Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing, and
The
I'm doing
center,
even
all
middle
four walls.
placement too.
So 4 woofers.
Yeah, 4 woofers, one in the middle of each wall,
No shit.
and it basically creates almost no dead spots.
I always thought you
I'm gonna
throw it
go.
in the
I'll try
corner.
4 versus. Yeah, I'll try 4
Yeah,
first.
Harman International had a big document up about that Dan Wiggins actually sent me.
Well, I've been telling
Yeah.
people the wrong thing for many years then.
Well,
way do you fire
I
the woofer
watched one of the
towards the
videos
wall?
where you're setting that up.
It's
I
Yeah.
was really just
downfire.
looking at your video game systems.
There goes the train,
Oh, yeah.
Thomas.
The train.
Thomas the Train.
Wait, that's a train right now?
That's
Right
a
now.
train
It's
now.
right there.
Why
Can
do
I
think
tell
he
you something?
hates it so much?
Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something
Yeah,
real
go
quick?
ahead, go ahead.
I grew up next to the train track. I lived next to the train track, and I wanted a big inspiration behind having a big loud sound system was I was gonna prank my neighbors and play the sound effect of a train, like drive by and people think a train was driving by, but it never worked out. It never worked out. There's such low
Go by
bass. on
I
Thomas's
can
trains.
see
house
the
to do
hate
that.
in Thomas's eyes.
Wait,
Nobody
what?
can see
He
Thomas.
hates trains.
Oh, he hates trains.
So Thomas is
There's
not
a whole
on.
Oh,
episode
no.
about it.
Thomas is not on camera right now. He's right behind the main camera,
It's probably a good thing.
but he is smirking heavily at the train.
Oh, see, I didn't know someone could have such disdain for a locomotive.
Oh yeah.
Because
You
the
know-
train has fucked Thomas so many times.
He also grew up watching
He
He
Thomas
said
the
we were
Train.
gonna
the
wreck.
train,
He
yeah.
said we
Maybe
were gonna
there's some
wreck the train
deep-seated.
with the lasers.
Thomas
what
the
kind
Train.
of crazy ass thing is that?
Thomas the Tank Engine.
What else you got going on, Bruce?
Besides, no. Besides that, that's pretty much it. I try to take on as many side projects as I can. So if I get confronted by a random company or two, I'll try to say yes as much as I can if it fits the bill.
Right.
Like I try to, I've done some stuff for Resilient Sound, some stuff for, obviously Crescendo and stuff like that. I wouldn't say I'm sponsored by anybody though.
we'll work
like
something out.
particularly. Yeah, I would say I'm like the Amp Lab. I would give them a little something that
Yeah,
Oh,
fantastic
yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
Ethan is a cool dude.
We do a lot
He's a
of
great
work with
guy.
the Amp
He's
Lab.
really
We
cool.
do a lot of work with this.
Yeah, I've been working with them.
You and I both own one of 3 ever made.
Yeah, me and you are quite
megaliths.
unique in that. And sorry I didn't reply to your message. I was
No, you're
literally,
good.
I was like, how much can I drop right now? And I never got my finances in order.
I am trying to sell. By the way, if anybody wants to buy a megalith,
Yeah, right.
I am trying to sell it. I don't plan on using it anymore. So that is a battery made by the Amp Lab. It's a lithium battery,
Yeah, it's
45 amp
very
hour.
cool. Very cool
It's
design.
got a remote turn on. It's got fuse panel built into it. All sorts of cool shit.
SMD meter.
What's that?
The meter.
Yeah, it's got an SMD
It's got the
voltmeter in
SMD
it
meter
and
on
all
the
that.
top. So yeah, there's 3 ever made, and they're not going to make them. I
Mm-mm.
guess it's just too expensive, and there's too much other.
And also,
stuff
there's been
coming
so
out.
many advancements since
Yeah, big
those
time.
green K2 cells. That's what's inside them.
But fantastic! It's like one of the most unique batteries ever made,
Mhm.
and you've got one of them. I know you use often.
Yep, it's in
for
my
different
it's in
things.
my car right now, and the difference between having it there and not there is night and day. Yeah,
Nice.
it really helps out.
Cool. Well, maybe I will use it.
You should try it. You should try it. Man.
It's funny because I noticed that it was in your car from a video. And I was like, Brian, I think this is the same thing that's under your chair.
Yeah.
It's me, him, and I don't remember.
It takes like 200 hours to print it or something crazy, right?
It took them a long time to build that.
Yep.
Actually, their 3D printer broke when they were making mine. So they had to buy a whole new 3D printer to make the one that they sent me. So I was the last one I ever made.
Now you're trying to sell it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that build anymore. I may still put it in my FRS, but it's a pretty big battery. So... and I have no trunk space in the FRS. I don't know. So anyway, 2 more things I want to talk about for you, and we can go into some other. We'll go to a commercial and do some other stuff. Let's see. You have another channel.
Oh God.
And your other channel, the biggest thing that I got out of it was you accidentally leaked your girlfriend's phone number.
Oh, I saw that. Whoops. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Oh yeah, that was an accident. Well, you know how when you edit longer videos, like 30-minute, 40-minute video, you'll miss a couple things. I missed the phone number.
You forgot to blur that out, didn't you?
Next thing you know, freaking people calling. Just to say like random, like, hey, like I have a question. Is this EXO? Like, I have a question about car audio. They're calling my girlfriend's phone.
Wow.
So
show feet, please.
So I posted about it on my second channel, which has totally
How many
tanked.
texts did she get that says send nudes?
I don't think it went that far.
I thought it was you.
Yeah. If anything, that'd be aimed right to the man. No, but yeah, the second channel has tanked. It was a bad idea looking back on it. I was just trying to separate types of content when it should have been all on one.
Yeah.
And now I have way too many videos on the second channel that I could have benefited from them on the main channel. So it's too clogged.
You still have a silver play button, though, right?
Yeah,
I got 2 silver play buttons out of it. So.
Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
That's 100,000 subscribers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would say I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's too hard to keep
Silver
up with
play
2
buttons.
YouTube channels like that. So
I'd
it really
say.
is. People don't fully understand maybe if you want to make shitty videos, I could just post clips all day long and not do a damn thing.
Yep.
But I have this this inner voice that I just can't do it. I have to have some sort of
experimental videos.
level of quality.
Aren't you doing something new with like editing videos though? Like you're working with somebody to make them a little more
car audio guy.
Something about the editing. It seems like I remember you saying something about that.
Well, the video was I had a friend, a Patreon, offer to do a single video and to see how the feedback was because he's trying to grow his channel. So I was like, yeah, let's do a collaboration.
It seems like I thought a part of that was like you did a video and then you had like a little EXO pop up on the table and like this is.
Oh yeah, I did all that. I do all that stuff.
Ed, you just mentioned the car audio guy. I noticed he'll do. Actually, he was live like right now as we're recording this. Of him, what he'll do is he'll do a live video of him editing a video.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Showing people how to do it.
Yeah, how they do it. I don't use that software, but I see what he does. I'm like, damn, I don't want to do that.
That's why I'll leave that. Like that's his nit. That's how he does things, and I'm gonna leave that his cinematic like little touch.
You need to have like a little Bryan pop up and like point things out on the screen. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I love watching other quality YouTube channels. Just like just like Project SPL and the process of watching that build come together on Derrick's channel.
I do almost no editing.
Yeah,
but he's
a one-take wonder.
When we did the introduce the staff,
doesn't really seem that
cut,
way.
Please cut, edit. Derek's like, no, bro, no.
You don't need to. You're a one-take wonder.
I
really you did really good tonight.
Plan out well enough ahead of time that I don't have to edit, so I still like little intro, outro. Maybe I add some little transitions between scenes.
But you can.
I fuck up every time I do that.
Like some of the
actually,
like the one I messed up. Come on, you could have totally.
Was it Saturday when we were?
That was weak.
Saturday when we were at the X's Power Show, Bruce had me do like this voiceover thing.
Oh yeah.
And afterwards I was like, dude, I should have said this. I should have said this. I feel like I did a horrible job.
Do you want to get some stuff that you forgot?
I don't remember any of it, dude.
Well, that's okay.
If you can make it work,
I'll make it work.
You can just do your thing. Throw some music in the background.
I'll just mute the audio and just like talk over.
There you go.
I'm just kidding.
This is Bryan.
Hey guys. I'll try to get as deep as I can.
Big yellow one.
Now the other question I had for you, Bruce, is I noticed you go through a lot of your fans' questions on YouTube. Do you really read all of your comments?
Every single comment,
dude.
I read every single.
I used
to respond to every single comment, but once I went over like 200,000 last year, I couldn't keep up with it. which I feel bad, but I used to reply to every
you can only
single
do so
person.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be overwhelming, like I said.
It
It's
is.
got to be overwhelming.
His heart is in it so much that he feels.
I just saw you today on the Facebook comments like, hey, why don't you PM me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man, since you mentioned this a month ago, why don't you read it?
Yeah, do you guys get that? Like, you'll just get,
Yes.
like, random people just saying, hey, PM me. Like, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like wait,
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you
Well,
want to talk to me, I'm
since
right
this
here,
is a-
right now.
Since this is a company, we tell them to email us.
Yeah.
Whether they do or not is on them. So
Seems like I take on
Actually-
most of that because I handle the contact folder for the company.
Jacob will get
I get a lot of that.
messages through Facebook, and he won't even respond to them.
I don't read them because if I did it, I would just never get anything else
Yeah,
done.
so we just say, hey,
it's
email
I can't do
us.
Facebook Messenger.
No, I don't do it either.
I know, Bruce.
Oh, actually,
I'm sorry.
Actually,
sorry.
Actually, yeah.
Oops, I clipped.
I know from experience too. Because remember the live episode we did where you took off your pants?
Yeah.
I was like, man, you know what we need? And granted, we had a whole bottle of whiskey. And we're all sitting here like, you know what we need? We need EXO in this mess. And so I messaged you.
Yeah,
and I
that's
was like,
some of the hardest stuff.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
A public
should've called his
apology right
girlfriend.
now to anyone who
It
sent
was
a message.
probably you couldn't even read it. It was probably a bunch of words. just
Mr.
letters.
Bruce and Mr. Ed, maybe we should exchange phone numbers.
Are you sick and tired of playing sloppy edits with squared off sine waves? Want a moment of clarity? Then sit back and relax and experience what it's like to get rustified when it comes to transforming new hits and old classics into the best street bangers. Ain't nobody got the sweet sounds of the 808s like Russ, with frequencies ranging from spleen busting high end to digging all the way down low into the subsonic abyss. Rusticals has what you need. Sundown After Dark has teamed up to give you an exclusive offer to save big on his iconic sound. So pull out your mobiles and browse your way over to www.djrusticals.com and pick up your preloaded DJ Rusticals Fire Stick USB today. Go ahead and save 10%. Use promo code After Dark. That's www.djrusticals.com and use promo code After Dark at checkout.
My wife says.
Really?
You wouldn't have said that if you saw him trying to put NSV4 motors together last night.
Okay, look, hold on.
We're rolling.
Hold on. It's
Go ahead and
been-
keep
it's been a
talking.
while since
Yeah, we're
I've
rolling.
done that, and it was kind of, you know.
We're good now. So
We're back.
Dude, this thing is broken.
Yeah, that microphone stand's fucked. I
was
need
under
to fix
pressure, mind you.
under pressure.
I was under pressure.
Do you need a little more of that?
We're back.
Those Neos
we're good.
This thing's 11 shades.
I don't like working with Neo. Actually, the first time that I worked with Neo, it was like like my 5th day at Sundown Audio. I was like, what's a speaker?
It's aluminum, bro.
And Jake was like, hey Donnie, how many fingers you got? 10. He's like, well, I want you to have that many by the time you're clocking out.
That's a true story.
So do
Scares-
you
Neo's
guys work
scary.
with Neo already magnetized?
Yes.
Yes.
The NSV4s have to be built live.
Have you seen them spark and collide at all?
We're pretty careful.
Oh, I guess
Oh,
that would be.
actually,
yeah,
it
that'd
was
be
like the
expensive.
next day was the Nick Wright story.
Wait, what
Bring that
spark
mic-
and
bring
collide?
that
What do you
mic
mean?
closer.
What do you mean spark
They're
and
so
collide?
powerful when they hit each other. They get hot and pieces fly
What are we
off
talking about
because
right
of the
now?
impact.
Neomagnets?
Neomagnets.
Oh, okay.
But
The
okay.
heat from the collision.
Gotcha.
They're very dangerous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So we are recording now.
Okay.
We're just like, everything's fine, guys.
I like speakers.
And so this is the part of the show that doesn't really matter. All right, we're just gonna roll with the
You mean
punches.
that it breaks down and it's downhill?
The only thing we got to do is get through some customer or the fans' questions.
Okay.
It's aluminum.
Other than
bro.
that, we're just gonna ramble
Wait,
on some
how do
bullshit.
you have fans' questions right now?
I'll show you here in a minute.
This is gonna be cool.
We announce it ahead of time, then they ask stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's what that was earlier when I took that picture of
Gotcha.
you guys.
Where's that milk?
It's the magic of
But
milk.
before, yeah. Oh, we got Bruce some milk because he said he doesn't drink, but he wants some milk. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's my whiskey.
Whole milk, don't drink that too fast.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
it's
So
Yeah.
the two of you are here together, Ed and Bruce.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
Ed.
in that way.
Ed, you're not as partners.
Not like Chuck and Larry.
Oh.
So Ed, you're hanging out with Bruce over here.
Yeah.
And what are you guys doing at the moment together? Are you collaborating with? Are you doing something together? Or what are you doing?
A few things you want to.
Yeah, well, I'll start out with what we just did this weekend. We just did a collaboration on some common myths that people are talking about in in common circles of stereo equipment. And then we were also going a little bit further, maybe see if we can do videos down the road as something, kind of recurring.
Yeah. We just did a live thing. You actually got on it. We were talking about the myths in car audio.
Yeah.
And you actually brought some things to our attention. Thank you for that, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was getting a little dead there a couple times.
Right.
And you helped bring some things to life.
I was trying to wait for people to chime in, and it was getting off the rails.
That's the one where Jake left, right?
Yeah.
And it was just me and you, and we're like,
Duh. So let's talk about some myths. Some of the myths that you guys are going to be going over in your videos.
Yeah, there's a few.
First off, whose channel is that going to be on?
Both.
Yeah.
Cool.
We have kind of separated into two
Fantastic.
different videos.
We're doing some other projects too. One's going to be a more involved video, but that one is, I guess the philosophy is something easy to edit and get out that has good, valuable information.
Gotcha. Are you going to be testing these myths?
Not in this video.
Yeah,
I think the idea is see how this goes,
yeah.
and then if we have more time and resources built up to test them. Yeah.
Because that's what people are
the
going to
idea.
want to see. That
Start somewhere.
Definitely.
Start small, and then build it up.
Actually, you know what? You guys can talk about the myth on Bruce's channel, and you can test the myth since you're all sciencey
would
on
be
your
cool.
channel.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Bring Edwin in.
Get Bruce. Yeah. Edwin and Bruce in a lab coat. Yeah, someone's got that.
So what else are you collaborating on? Are you doing any builds together?
Well, he's working on that van now, and I'm here. You need a hand? Let's do something.
All right, cool.
Yeah, nothing like official in the books. Right now, we're trying to get our video production up our game that way, and see if we can get content out to people to see us together. And
Fantastic.
And I'm going to give him an intro to welding. I'm not the best, but I brought a welder, and he wants to learn to do his
I'm
build.
going to try to do some random stuff.
And speaking of welding, I know you got Justin Haddock helping you out, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Kyle Rutherford and Justin Haddock. I've two people that have definitely been a inspiration for me, seeing them in around the shows. And I basically approached him and was like, hey, do you think if we came together, could you help me, or even help me learn how to weld this cage, which is going to be very, very big. And I hear that when you weld in large lengths that you can have problems come up like bowing and bending, and then you need to kind of account for that, and I don't know anything. So to have someone who is well versed in the category kind of help me along.
Would you say that Kyle's going to give you a hand?
Kyle will give me he'll give me
The
a
hand.
hand. He'll give me the hand.
I want to give a shout out real fast. A lot of people that watch the show know that I ruined my Sundown After Dark shirt doing a truck, and Kyle messaged me. He's like, "What's your address?" And I gave him my address, and he's like, "Okay, cool. What's for dinner?" Oh, all right. But he sent me these couple shirts and some stickers and
He
stuff.
did not swing by.
He did not swing by.
man.
I had a plate for him ready, and we were ready to go. So
Damn it, Kyle.
thanks, you.
Damn,
Thanks,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Speaking
Thanks.
Kyle's awesome. I actually have some speaking of lasers, laser cut clippos to get to him. So.
Nice.
So
yeah,
what
he's
was
a
for
great
dinner?
guy.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to some of the fan questions.
Pork chops, maybe.
Now I'm hungry.
For those of you that ever want to send us questions, anytime you want, it's going to be two different ways. There's the Sundown After Dark Facebook page. You can send us an actual Facebook message. Or, if you want, you can call it in, send us a voicemail. And the phone number for that is 252-969-0005. Again, 252-969-0005. We want to hear your voice, not just ours. So go ahead and send us voicemails.
How many times did you say that in the mirror? We want to hear your voice, not just ours.
I just made it up, buddy.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I don't think anybody. You know what? Let me check while we're looking. Let me just see if anybody sent us a voicemail.
No questions. No one cares.
Yeah, nothing today.
Is there
June
a guy named
14th is the
Ginger Ale
last
that calls in or
voicemail.
something?
Yeah, Ginger Ale always calls.
Yeah, he does.
It's our number one fan.
He must have been really busy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't even have any, yeah, he must be really busy dealing with those respiratory folks. Anyway, so there's a question from Steve Herman, who also he's always sending us questions. It says, Bruce and Ed, who did you guys look up to in the car audio industry when you guys were getting into car audio? If anybody, who do you guys look up to now, and what do you have so many looking for up to? I can't even read that. I can't read.
You start. You start, Ed.
Yeah.
You go first,
Me
Ed.
start?
Yeah.
Growing up, there was no YouTube and internet and all that. I'm old.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Hitler.
Damn it, Donnie.
That's what I heard.
Wrong show.
Wrong show. That's for another day. As far as car audio, Tim Maynor, if you guys know that name, was one guy. Mostly they were based off of builds. What I looked at in the magazine and saw pictures, Tim Maynor was doing some crazy stuff. If no one knows, he built a full steel windshield. Like, come on.
I didn't.
Yeah,
wow.
and he used virtually he used 2 cameras to see when he drove.
Yeah, you had to do cameras and a
No
whole
shit.
VR.
Yeah.
I did not. I don't know anything
He
about
had
this. I gotta
hundreds
look
of
this up.
thousands of watts in the 90s.
When was this? 90s?
And he had a trailer behind his Blazer to pull
What do you have?
the amps
CRT
and
TVs
batteries.
in there for
No,
the
he had
cameras?
VR
got,
headset you had
yeah.
to wear that saw the cameras. So you
Right.
could
No
drive the truck.
shit.
And he's
Holy
one of the
cow.
first people to
That
do
was
over
full rocket
160.
Fosgate build,
Yeah.
test drove,
Damn, how do
all
I
that
not
stuff.
know this?
And here I became friends with him and got to give him a demo and tapped him out.
Y'all aren't old enough
Wow.
to know
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I started getting the car audio in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
Like when I was
Well,
13.
Tim Maynor, I think he was big right before and then during the whole Alma Gates thing. 96 is
Right.
when Alma first came out. And
How
Tim
old
Maynor
are
was
you,
there.
Ed?
39.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Look at you. You look
I s-
young as
I
fuck,
started
dude.
competing in 95. I was 15. I was a
I
young
thought you were like
boy.
my age. You're 32.
Only if you're 39, then we're the same.
Wow, look at that. You're looking good, buddy.
Oh, thank
Good
you.
job.
Thank you. It's this whiskey.
I'm over here hitting on Ed.
Hey, why not? So that's who I looked up to then, who I look up to now. Nick Wright from Incriminator.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's actually like a year younger than me, but the guy has done so much, and
You talk about Nick all the time.
Yeah,
He's my age. He's 36.
right.
It's
He's,
aluminum,
a couple
bro.
years.
Actually, their
Yeah.
birthdays are like really close to
Yeah.
each
He's
other.
the day after mine.
He's hilarious and everything, and
Yeah.
just the way he carries himself online is hilarious.
I
too,
have to get him
but
on the show
in a
because
good
he's
way.
got stories out the ass.
Yeah.
That guy. And he's
Yeah.
hilarious every time he tells a story. It's hilarious.
Right, he is. So a lot of good guys. There's a lot of people I look up to and get inspiration from.
Mm-hmm.
One guy sitting across from me here, running Sundown and growing the company. We toured the facility,
Yeah.
and that's the dream for my company someday, to grow to the level where we can have a facility that big and employ that many people.
Right.
I would love to have a team of local workers doing electronics assembly,
That'd be cool, man.
fabrication,
Customer service.
Yeah. Oh,
And you
that's
just
the
sitting
dream.
back at your desk like this guy right here.
It would give me
Yeah.
more time to do videos and stuff. That's for
Actually,
sure.
I've never
So,
seen him so balled up and pent up more so now than ever.
Yeah.
Because this whole new building situation. But
It's a lot of
good
work.
Lord.
It's a lot of work.
It is work, yeah. But the work, anyone that works hard and gives me inspiration is someone who I look up to. Definitely.
Fantastic. Bruce?
I'd have to say probably Bob Perillo or Rooney. Do you know who Rooney is? I don't even know his first name. He just goes by Rooney. They were really big up in Maine. So,
Okay.
I'd say Bob Perillo was my big influence in the beginning, just because when I would go to the shows, he would be there, and he was, even in bigger circles, very well known and very loud. So to see him at a local Sanford Sound show was really pretty influencing. And I'd say nowadays, I look up to the big guys just like pretty much everyone else. Steve Meade and Jacob, and from Sundown. I'd say I really do look up to Steve Meade quite a bit, though. I always have from day one, and I'd say he's pretty much one of my big ones right now. Is just how he does things. I like it.
For the longest time, I learned this maybe a couple of years ago. For the longest time, I thought he was an install shop, and he's not.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
He just does
who does this.
He might
and
do
he
a
loves
couple
it.
installs a year.
Yeah.
I thought he was an actual installer, ran a shop. No, he just runs his channel. He's got products out now. He just built himself up. He built his own empire, and he's kicking ass just like you are. Just kicking ass,
I think that's
dude.
why he kind of always stays on the top of my brain. Like, I just enjoy. We use the same camera, and that was by accident. And I like how he puts the extra touch into his stuff. He puts a lot of work into what he does, and I respect it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we got this question a couple times, Bruce. What happened to your hand?
Well, nothing happened to it. I should have had this years ago. I should have been wearing this the whole time. It's just editing videos really hurts my wrist.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? It hurts that bad, huh?
Yeah.
What are you doing during your editing?
We don't need to get into the specifics.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing.
Oh, shit. All right, so a question from Jeff Burns. First up, the last two questions. So we had Steve Herman, then there's Chris Young. Now we've got Jeff Burns. Jeff asks, will EXO run his PSI subs or maybe go Sundown in the van build?
Well, I definitely am going to run the subs I have now first, but upgrades, who knows?
We'll do some talking. Don't you worry. All right, so now we got a question from Justin Hendrickson. Probably a dumb question, but what amp for 2 E10 dual 4s? That's for us. That would be an SAE 1000D. You're going to run that at 1 ohm, 1,000 watts. That's all you need. Each woofer is rated at 500, so perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Dwayne Johnson. Let's see what he says. This is for EXO. He says, out of all the subs he's tested over the years, besides PSI and SoundStream,
no.
what was the one that surprised you the most?
Yeah. There's two answers. It's Sean's Lowballer and the Pro Audio Rockvilles that no one knows I tested. I got like a 53 out of them. Those two, which no one knows I even tested those kinds of subs in my car. But I walled them with my other 18s and just took those out and put some Rockvilles in my car. Yeah, and they
probably
did like
peaked really high, I would assume.
60 hertz. Yeah, but it surprised the hell out of me, and so that was surprising. So if I'm going by the question,
that's a pro driver.
And then the Sean's Lowballer was pound for pound the loudest sub that I've ever tested in that car. It got the same score on 800 watts versus like 1200 watts. So I was happy with that.
Nice.
I was so surprised at that. I didn't even know what was going on.
All right, Dwayne, good question. So William C. Berg Jr. asks, for EXO and Ed, can they let us in on what they are collaborating on together? This is, and being that they are at your shop, is that with your products? They basically want to know if you guys are working with us. What happened to EXO's arm? Well, we already talked about that. Is he okay? Are you okay, Bruce?
No, yeah, I'm fine. In the
Do you need surgery?
I guess the collaboration would be us coming to magnetize some woofers.
Yeah.
You know, I was coming to Sundown, and Ed's actually just sleeping at my house for a week. So he's coming along just because we were hanging out as friends, every day this week.
Yeah.
And
you guys tired of each other yet?
No.
Oh,
no. Yeah, me and Ed are collaborating in our own capacity with our videos, and then I have to give Ed credit though. He facilitated this whole thing. I did not make the PMs or any of this. He made shit happen, and I got here today because of Ed. And I have to say,
thanks, Ed.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Because I procrastinate way too much. It would have been another 2 months.
Yeah, I know you and I have talked a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to come down.
I try to leave you alone because I know you're just busy as hell.
No, dude. That thing is, I'm a weird dude. I need that. Like, I want to be
a manager.
Like, yeah. Yes. And Ed,
tell your woman
to
get involved. You have a girlfriend, right?
He really helped me. He just made it happen. He made the appointment, and we're here. Like, not appointment, but you know what I mean. He made the he scheduled
an appointment.
Boom. Yeah.
But you know what? It's a learning experience.
Are you on the
being
docket
around
today?
another video producer, another creator, content creator, is eye-opening. All the things we do that are similar. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm editing it. I'm like, I do the same thing.
Yeah, like I edited for 12 hours while I had a guest.
But it's interesting to see that.
Weird.
So we will have several projects coming out. Some are unforeseen what they're going to be, but there's a big video showing different types of woofers, and then coming into Sundown with Derrick, Haddock, and Sundown Unofficial. I get to do a little video thing with him. So we're going to talk about what an SPL vehicle.
Yeah,
is,
so we all kind of collaborated.
Yeah.
Multiple
4 channels together in one room, by the way.
Yeah,
folks.
not just me and Ed, but everybody.
Yeah. So we got everything going on, and.
Yeah, and the arm's fine. Arm's good. Yeah.
Good.
My arm doesn't hurt, by the way.
Justin Gunderson asks a question for EXO and Ed. When you guys set gains on amps, do you disconnect the speaker wires, or do you have them hooked up? He's gotten different answers. You know what? I know why he's getting different answers.
I know why he's getting different answers too.
And it all has to do with the DD1.
I don't use that, but I want to. I just don't have the money for it.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people tune their amplifiers for different purposes. If you're trying to eke out for SPL, do you want to sit there for 45 seconds while you dial that in? Maybe not. Do you want to be like to full potential on something that doesn't necessarily want that full rated? Maybe you're putting more power. Like you have subs that are rated for 2K. People are chucking 4K on them. Do you want to gain match your amps at full potential with one freaking while that sub's just going crazy?
This is a very not situational. Well, it is situational, but it's also a very personal question because a lot of people have different ways they do it. Me personally, I do have the woofers hooked up. I'll find clipping on the head unit, then I'll back down from there and still have everything hooked up while I'm doing it.
But would you say that the layman does that every day? does it have should have it plugged in? Like
I'd say most of them
Yeah.
probably do it by ear.
It's a layman or a competitor. For SPL, I used to disconnect the load, put a voltmeter on, and go until I reached my max voltage.
It's good to have a resistance or some kind of load on the amplifier, though, in my opinion. That way, because if there's a load on the amplifier, the position in which there's clipping may be a different
No,
position.
I agree with that totally. I've observed
Everything
that.
changes when there's load.
Yeah.
Everything changes. It's not the same.
So should I develop a reactive load?
But
that
I think
can
that's
handle
why
that
there's
much
varying
power?
answers, because you'll have people that are like accounting for the everyday user and be like, oh no, since you don't want to have your speakers playing the whole time, disconnect them for safety.
They do
They'll kind of like govern that statement really well.
They do make large resistors for such a thing.
How about a reactive load though? A test load that can
Right.
handle.
It's a
10K.
true 4 ohm or true 1 ohm
Using
or whatever.
A system of coils and caps. Yeah. I could do it.
So it's again very situational, very personal way of doing
I
it.
personally have them plugged in. I make noise when I do
For
stuff.
non-SPL, I have them plugged in. Personally, I do. Yeah.
Mr. Charlie Dickerson asks, who's right here in the room. He just wants to know if you guys would be interested,
Charlie, you dork,
in some of his services. So here's his card. So Charlie does a lot of fantastic artwork, as you can see behind me here.
You got to do it again. You have to do it again for the new building.
And if you ever need anything drawn up or whatever, that's your man right there.
Sweet, thanks.
Get a mural going.
All right, let's see what else we got going on here.
That's a good one.
Jake, you wanna?
So what do you think about using larger baskets like Rockford, so like oversized? Actually, my next generation frames I'm designing will be like the oversized plus size frames, like 9, 11, 13, 16, 19. That's what I'm going to be doing on the next gen Sundown stuff.
So that'll be like all the high excursion stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to go to odd sizes on the next
Are we actually going
frame.
to call them 9, 11, 13 and such, or are you going to still
We
leave
need
it
to.
at
I don't know,
8?
man.
It's really going to be a 9, and it's before.
We definitely have to.
Can I ask a question on design? What would be the purpose?
Just get a little bit more cone area.
And for Kyle Rutherford's hands.
We like to be unique, Ed. We like to be unique.
Also,
That's
that like trying to.
with
I'm going to
Rockford.
try to be unique, but I also kind of want to make it somewhat standard with the other guys that are doing it. So like, if you have like a Rockford 13, you can put mine in.
So it makes their non-standard sizes more standardized.
Make sure it's the same box information, same box specs that will work with it.
Cut out anyway.
Cut out's important.
Now you change your enclosure. Just change it.
Yeah. So Kevin, he asks, what made you this is for EXO. He said, what made you decide to go with the gear that you're running, and if you are at Sundown, would you consider running some Team Neo or Team Ferrite gear in your next build? I would love to see them on some series made into walled daily driver. Okay.
Oh, well, I have the sound streams because I was on Team Soundstream. I actually was. I had their woofers for a reason for like way back in the day.
Mhm.
And then I just kind of gathered more and more.
Those are the
because-
ones you brought here today.
Exactly. Like I started out with that back in 2010.
Okay.
So I just figured I'd get more, and I got, I started out with 2 and then got 4 and then
real
just
quick,
get more.
were you guys able to get any more out of those motors?
Yeah, we
Gauss-wise?
got like 10% more Gauss out of them.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Fantastic. And you guys will
Yeah.
see that video. Bruce will be posting it up. About when do you think?
I'm not. I couldn't put a definitive statement
At some
on it, but
point,
a couple weeks
you're
maybe.
going to see the video that Bruce made while he was here.
Definitely.
And Ed, I believe you're doing some stuff too.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a few pieces.
So he wants to know if you're going to run some Team Neos or Team Ferrite stuff. Right now, the team.
Would I consider? He says I would consider. Yes, but I would also. I would want to do my guy David real good for a little while. Run the PSIs
Mhm.
for a good bit. Make some great content with that, and then see where that takes me as far as upgrades go.
Awesome. And David's a great guy. He makes some fantastic product.
Yeah, love that guy.
He's actually one of our parts guys. And for folks that like to go to David Moore, which is PSI or Pink Star Industries, we allow him to use our parts to rebuild woofers. So if you really like his services, you're welcome to have your woofer rebuilt by him.
Right, like he can get the mega roll cones and all that.
Nice.
Yep. He just bought some parts today, actually. Here's Charles Haley. Charles says, "Hey, Bryan, let Bruce know that I'll be glad to share my Raspberry Pi setup info and in your new build." So basically, it's for doing FLAC files, which are like true music files without any compression or anything. So yeah. So I guess you were talking to Charles at some point.
I don't remember. Maybe we were talking.
Charles is actually one of our.
He was at the Access Power Show.
Okay, then I was talking to him.
Yeah,
Then I thought online, maybe not.
He's one of our team members. He's the guy who runs the Magnum with the SQ setup.
Oh yes, I know exactly.
Right,
I want to take a step back. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Actually, here's a picture of his build.
He blew me away with the 3D printed thing that he did.
Is that candy corn?
He did a custom thing in his dashboard that really blew me away.
Yep.
Like for his Helix, for his MK2, he did something real custom and detached the faceplate to it. So
yeah,
I trust.
He does some pretty wild stuff. Actually, he's going to be testing our tweeters of the new X Series tweeters that the
new beryllium dome tweeters.
They're so new. We
Nice.
we haven't even had time to bring them on this show. So actually, we'll be talking. I guess we could talk about them here in a second. But
we can save that for next time.
He was really helpful to me because I got to demo an SQ build, and this is the first one that I've ever really done. And so I was curious about how those are judged because I feel like something like SQ is fairly subjective.
It is.
Whereas,
It can,
like,
yeah.
whereas like SPL is
There's
like
no numbers involved.
That number and that number are clearly different.
Unless there's
Whereas
an obvious
SQ,
rattle in the door or whatever.
But it's
all subjective.
It was very helpful. It was very helpful to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we had steak together, which was cool.
That's Charles Haley. That's the guy you want to talk to if you want to do Raspberry
Great. Yeah.
Pi.
Thanks, Charles.
If you don't remember, just contact me. I'll get you in with him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christian Wilbrandt, his question is, got a question for y'all. The SD4 parts be able to be used on the SD3. So he can order. Basically, he wants to know if he can order SD4 Recon for his SD3. And the answer is yes, right?
Correct.
It is, yes.
So, and that way, you can use slightly bigger box or a ported enclosure with your SD3 if you wanted to recon it to that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now, I have a question for you because I know the SD woofers are impedance. Basically, if you have
you
a
can't
dual
change
2,
your impedance. It has to stay.
Is it going to stay the same way? Let's say they want a SD4 parts in their SD3. Is it going to be the same way?
The coils are the same as SD3. As long as if you have a dual 2 motor, it still has to say dual 2.
So if you have a dual 2 or a dual 4, it's going to have to stay a dual 2 or a dual 4.
Correct.
Is that because of the gap?
Yep.
Yeah, where they're underhung 8-layer round wires, and so the OD is so different. I had
Yeah.
to change the motor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
This is actually the same question as before.
Yep.
With the proprietary baskets by Sundown, has an oversized cone size been considered? Yes.
That's Dalton Whitfield. Yep. So I believe that's it for questions. Let's go ahead and reload this just to make sure there's no other ones.
And for anybody who doesn't know, the current 10 is oversized already. It's,
Yeah.
That is
technically
correct.
an 11.
Right.
Yes.
So that is it for the fan questions. Let's see. Did I have anything else I wanted to
We
talk
probably want
about?
to show them this amp that's sitting right in front of me.
Oh, yeah. That, too. And I wanted to know if Chick-fil-A was hiring Jews.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That was a bullet from earlier. Yeah.
We were at lunch today. We were just all talking. We all went out to lunch, and we were talking about how Chick-fil-A is a Christian run and business, and it just brought me a thought. I was wondering, do they have to
I don't think they do.
sign themselves to Jesus when they work there?
I'm pretty sure they
Are
do.
you allowed to be
No.
any religion?
Brian, no.
Equal opportunity employer.
Brian, no.
Affirmative action? Like, how does that work?
I think it would be illegal if they required.
I'm sure it would. I'm just busting
There's
their
secret
balls.
ways they can probably do that.
Maybe Maybe they can hire a lot of Jews or Muslims, and they can work them on Sundays instead, so they can be open
Nah,
7
man,
days a week.
I think they don't work on Sundays either.
Those chicken
shit.
minis are on point.
Let's turn this back around. Wait,
They're on point.
You know how I am. I don't care.
Thomas is back.
still happening.
So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put the camera on you, Jake. Show off that amp that you got sitting
see
there in
it?
front of you. What are we looking at?
We're looking at the new Sundown Budget SFB line, which is a Sundown full bridge. This is a 3000D. This bad boy is going to retail for $349.99. It legitimately does 3,000 watts certified on the dyno. Uncertified, it's about 4,000 watts. Super small. It's basically we're competing with the Brazilian style amps, except we're kind of standing out. We have 1/0 connectors where all the Brazilian 3Ks have 4 gauge.
Mm-hmm.
Another cool thing on the other side, metal pots, and a bunch of stuff going on in here. For it's kind of boring stuff, but like adding certain screws in certain places to prevent vibration damage, like larger rectifiers. Doing things with vibration resistance on the output filters here, but basically super good deal per watt from Sundown. Because this is a lot of the markets going this way.
Yeah,
and we want to be a part of
so
that.
this is basically us going with the flow. It's not something we were really interested in doing, but we kind of have to go with the flow.
When can I buy one of those?
I'm gonna say probably towards the end of August to early September. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That quick, huh?
Well, I've actually.
Are you happy with what you see right there?
Oh yeah.
Is it going to look like that?
It's going to look on the face exactly like that.
How about give it to me if you don't mind?
Donnie, how heavy do you think?
How much does that weigh? How much does that weigh?
15.
It's not that heavy. It's really light.
10 pounds?
Actually,
let me get a load of that.
I've had some of that Elysium, so
let me
these are
throw
heavier.
it on this camera because it's the only one I got that's like really close up. So there's the inside.
Sorry.
So just to put it out there,
take a bite.
This amp is not designed to run at low impedance like our other stuff.
Yeah, like put it out there.
This
for
style
sure.
amp, especially budget.
So how much does it actually weigh?
What's the lowest rated impedance?
I wouldn't wire it under 1 ohm personally.
We haven't put it on a scale.
So here's the deal. We've
I just
got.
want you to guess.
Ooh.
Here's the deal. We have let's.
It's
say,
actually heavier than I thought it was.
Let's say, for instance, a ZV5.
Thank you, Bruce.
The coil for a ZV5 reads 1.4 per side, which means when you wire down a so-called 1 ohm, it's really 0.7.
Yeah, the DCR 0.7 is fine.
Is that okay?
That's a 1 ohm nominal load. That's totally fine.
Yes.
That's okay.
So a half ohm nominal load is like usually
0.35.
goes far down as 0.3. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I'm not going to say you can't for burps or something. I just wouldn't do it.
Just keep in mind, without getting into a huge discussion, DCR is DC resistance. That does not equal AC impedance. There's a difference. So don't worry about DCR of your coils.
Right.
Can I ask a controversial question?
Go for it.
Would that, and why would it trick a term lab?
I haven't really poked into that much, but Derrick has some information maybe on that.
Yeah, what the hell was going on with that the other night?
Even for me, what happened on the other guys last night, my guess is it's got something to do. Well, just same as Taylor was guessing. Something to do with somehow the phase angle and the filters was completely tricking the term lab. Yeah. See, term lab accounts for phase angle, but I know phase angle doesn't make that big of a difference. So, I don't know. Somehow it was just completely tricking on the current side where there was no way it could read all the current.
It was like 2 point something amps, right? Or 3 amps.
That amp doesn't work like a warhorse.
He was seeing like 120, 220-ish volts and like 2 point whatever amps. And then, I don't know, some with those, I believe it was the tar amps he was using when he did that.
Now, is it just those, or is it all? That topology.
Right now, that's the only one that someone has found. He said he came across that accidentally, and it only happened at certain frequencies. There was a clear line where this frequency and down it was fine. With this frequency and up, it read funky. And he didn't expand, as far as how far it goes.
That's the whole trick
if
they were
it works
talking
on a
about.
curve or whatever.
Now, was someone exploiting it?
Probably.
Oh, look, no doubt there's some resilience exploiting that.
We haven't done the testing ourselves to really know, so like I'm sure Derrick will.
Oh yeah, it's
happening.
I've done a lot ever since
to be tackled.
We've been competing with clamps since 2008.
Be sure to check out Sundown Unofficial.
Yeah, I've
find
found a million ways to trick the clamps, and the Term Lab does pretty good. So no doubt, I'm gonna be looking into this more myself. It's something I'll probably be shooting a video.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
I remember hearing all these.
I was like, what the?
All these old school tricks about running like a ground wire with your
I'm sure
power.
Jake will remember, like, as soon as the Magnum first came out, like, the short burp thing they had back then, I hooked, because that was something I learned going way back when we did the individual clamps, how you could short burp them and cheat a little bit that way. And the first time we got the Magnum, hooked it up, I short burped it with, yep, you can cheat the hell out of this.
Damn.
You remember the multiple source unit thing?
Not recently, but yeah, I've actually went as far in testing as to overlap the multiple tones all together.
Yeah. That's exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like built frequency
I
almost.
didn't do it. To me, the hard way is the way you guys used to, where you had multiple source units. Like nowadays, you can just overlap tones all together. You can just modify them. And yeah, I've totally done that. Yeah. Not saying I'm a cheater. I've just done it to test it. I love to see those things. I like the science behind all that. The way you can overlap tones and cheat the Term Lab because you got the 3 bars.
You can make a whole show on that stuff. John Henry back in the day and all that.
Oh yeah, I know all about that.
So Derrick, since we're talking to you, what's new for Project SPL? What do you got going on lately?
Right now it's full rebuild. Like literally full rebuild.
I see you're playing with the amps. What are you doing back there?
NS2s are out.
Different woofers?
Yeah, I have to. Well, they're going to stay the same, but I got to change impedance. Oh, so okay. NS2s are coming out. We had 4 NS2s. They're already out. I've got to pull the cap bank so I could rewire that for more amps. 8 7500s are going in. So now since I'm going from 4 amps to 8, I've got to change the impedance of the subs. But the subs are staying identical. The compact Neo SPLs, I'm just changing impedance on them.
You stacking them on top of each other, or are you just still doing your...
I have to stack them in shelf style to cram it all in there. Another thing that I don't even know if I put on the channel, but I've already got it in the works where I'm doubling my cap bank. So I've got the 20 banks now. I've got it in the works of doubling that and having 40 banks. So I've also at the time where I'm trying to add 8 amps, I don't have the bars yet to double my caps. So I've got to kind of plan that out and figure out a way to
You can't fit those on the same levels. You have to stack them.
I'm going to squeeze it in there. It's going to make it.
All right.
Derek's really good at squeezing things in
there.
small crevices.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, this whole time, a lot of people are like, "There's no way you're going to do this. This ain't going to fit. It's not going to work." Well, it's going to work.
Derek's the master of squeezing big things into little crevices.
On top of swapping the amps, changing the coils on the sub, so I've got to change that. The loading wall, because I'm still using my janky loading wall that's literally just built out of scrap wood. It's not even glued together. I mean, the loading wall isn't even screwed in. I just put there's just a piece of 3/8 wood on the inside and one on the outside that's got a couple screws on it. That's the only thing even holding the loading wall there.
Wow. That's amazing. It does 168 dB.
Jeez. I qualified it in Incriminator Show to 168.5, I think it was.
And you haven't blown a windshield since?
No.
Oh.
So you're doing...
I'm on windshield number 5 from the initial testing after the first one blew, but haven't blown any.
What do you think was the actual problem in the beginning with all the windshields?
It was the glue.
Okay.
I mean, it was just the wind. Well, the first windshield already had a crack in it. It was a stock one, and that one held up pretty good. I actually, in testing, took that up to, we'll say, 169-ish on that stock windshield before it launched. And since then, the problem was, without a doubt, glue. I had glue that was rock hard. It would hold so tight that the windshields would just they wouldn't give any, and they would just pop. So now the glue
that's
I'm
pure
using
pressure. It's not vibration doing. That's pressure.
No, it's all about pressure. You ask anybody that got a demo from that thing at EXO's Power Show, the pressure is unreal in a vehicle like that. EXO got a demo. He can tell you.
That was pretty funny getting everybody in that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Derrick was handing out demos at the EXO's Power Show, which is unheard of.
I wish I had
And so many people love it too. Like you would think that you have to have a demo
Derrick
vehicle.
sacrificed
demos for
love it.
Derrick sacrificed his dash for people, basically.
I had to rebuild the dash 3 times during the show.
where
parts were flying off, screws were going everywhere.
You don't have that part. That's a DQ.
I count out
Guys,
one
I gotta
was
go.
like 5 feet away.
Can you
from
wait
me,
like a
Donnie,
minute or two?
Come
Couple
get in
minutes
this.
here, yeah.
Not one time.
You could have got in it at any time.
You
There was a line almost all day.
You could have invited me.
Every
By
now
the
and
way,
then,
speaking of
people
the
slow up
EXO's
a little
Power
bit.
Show, I did a live walk around, so go ahead and check that out. It's on the same channel as you're watching now. That's the previous video before this. So yeah, I did a live walk around. It was a pretty cool show. These two gentlemen were here. Actually, everybody in this room. Everybody in this room was there, and we had a great time. That was this past weekend. And what else we got? What other shows we got going on here soon?
Sundown show.
Sundown show's coming up August 17th.
Yep.
I'm also heading down to Georgia coming up August 3rd
So
to
you're
the Shut
going
It
to
Down
that?
Boys show. I'm
I
going
was-
to that.
I'm
Me and
thinking
Paul
Say
about-
that
Roscoe.
again. Say that again.
It's the Shut It Down Boys show. They're calling it, I think it's called All Out Call Out.
Okay.
Down in Newton,
I
Georgia
was thinking about
on August 3rd.
are we going to do a booth there? Do you want to do a booth?
We, as far as I know, we are not doing a booth, but I'm heading down there on my own.
I hear there's a lot of people going. We may want to consider doing a booth. If you guys are in the
August 3rd.
southeast, definitely go to this show. That's a Shut It Down Boys show. It's in Georgia.
Yeah.
Was
And
it
it's-
Macon?
No, it's in Noonan, Georgia.
Okay.
It's from us.
I
you
know
jump on
the
85 and go straight down.
Limitless guys, I think, are hosting it. Is that who's hosting that
It's
show?
the Shut It Down Boys, which the owners of Limitless are part of the Shut It
Okay.
Down Boys.
It's like a
So-
Rose Auto.
Yeah,
right?
Rose Auto. One of our
Yeah, the
dealers
owners
has
of
been
Rose
with us
Auto.
for a
Yeah,
long
they're
time.
all-
What do you know? If you wanna do a booth.
So, to close all this out, how do people get in touch with you, find your videos, social media? Tell us about it. Ed, let's start with you.
Well, I have the company page at Sparked Innovations on Facebook is the best place. As far as YouTube, ShowtimeSPL, always there. Comment on
Yep.
videos, check out all the old videos and the new stuff coming up.
Instagram, Facebook, what you got?
Instagram, ShowtimeSPL and Sparked Innovations.
Okay.
Facebook is great. The website, sparkedinnovations.com. And if they want to see me in person, I'll be at your show, the Sundown show,
Sweet.
what is it,
Perfect.
August 17th.
Maybe at some point we'll do a promo
Bruce,
code.
you got to sell
Yeah.
shirts at our show.
There we go.
Bruce, what
that's
you got?
that's
When we get,
expediting
when we
right
get
there.
done here, I'll get with y'all and run y'all through the whole thing. I'll change your world.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Bruce.
I'm
we'll give
down
y'all
with
some good
this.
information.
How do people find your stuff?
You can find me on Facebook and YouTube. The staple social media platforms.
Is it
All
EXO
EXO
Contralto?
Do you
Contralto.
do Instagram too?
I do. Yeah. I'm not hugely big. I got like 50,000 on there, but yeah.
Not huge.
EXO Contralto all around. EXOCONTRALTO.
Fantastic. All right. Well, how about this? See that camera right there, fellas?
One thing before we leave.
Yeah.
Jody, cut it off?
No, we're good. Keep going.
No. I want two opinions from y'all. What do you think of touring this building, and what do you think of touring the new building?
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't. It's you guys got bathrooms and TVs and like and pegboard all around. Yeah, I think it's a big. And how was it? Like 100,000 square feet or something stupid?
175,000.
Kathy Ireland endorses
yeah,
it.
see?
This building is 100,000. That's 175,000.
Like, I was blown away with the first one, but then you guys showed me the next one, and it was just office space for days.
Yeah.
And it was quite. It blew me away.
Did you guys do some video while you were there?
I got video of it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I would say it was quite. It made quite an impression on me.
Well, hold on. Before you go, I want something too. So we should all do the little EXO thing that you do.
Oh shit! If you guys want
gotta
to,
be different
all
every
of
time.
it, all of us.
All right, for
is that up there?
Yeah, for the thumbnail.
Outro.
So let's do it. You like bat. You bang
All
your
right,
chest?
yeah, let's go like that.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right,
1, 2, 3.
It's the loudest show around. Sundown After Dark with your host Brian Chamberlain. Presented by Sundown Audio.